Lightweighting means reducing mass and consolidating parts. No one tackles these design and tooling challenges better than three-dimensional services. We'll provide flexible tooling solutions, including integrating parts, reducing design complexity, or even design changes. We're the go-to source for rapid manufacturing and low-volume production. Trust three-dimensional services to develop the most efficient approach to meet your lightweighting challenges today. Three-dimensional services. Prototype, production, proven.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman brand, and on down the list. So come see us. Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
Warm welcome to the Mission Foods VIR Trans Am Series, the penultimate round of the 2022 season. With me, Adam Andretti, and well, Chris Dyson's wrapped up the actual title, but I don't think it's going to be any less competitive in this Trans Am race.
No, it's tied up at the top, second, third, fourth. You know, we don't want to say best of the rest, but it is. Dyson has laid it down. But Tommy Dreese, Ken Twaits, the two-time champ, Amy Ruman, they're battling for this best of the rest, and it's going to go down to the wire for sure. So it's going to be an exciting one today between those three.
Yeah, all three of them could be runner-up, and no disrespect to them, but Dyson's been on an absolute mission. It's not surprising that he's wrapped it up with 2 rounds to go.
No, it sure hasn't. I mean, we've seen the fire in his eyes since round one at Sebring when he drove the way he did to seal that win up, and he has not let off the gas since. So don't expect that here this weekend either. He was very strong already, and we're looking forward to a good race out of Chris Dyson.
Well, like you say, any of one of those three could be the runner-up in this championship, but here at VIR, who will it suit?
It's hard telling, Jonathan, on what's going to be suiting this course best, which one of these three drivers will get the best out of this race course. I think Tommy Dreese and the team over there at 3GT came off a good test here. Amy Ruman, you can't count out the two-time champion. And Ken Twaits has done such an awesome job, too. He keeps his head in the game, and he's always there at the end of the races. So it really could be anybody's game. Attrition, making sure that you're turning down the lap times. These are things you need to do here at VIR.
Well, if I know one thing about Chris Dyson, he doesn't care about championships. He cares about winning, and he's going to be favored again. He spoke to Ben Sisson.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I am here with Chris Dyson, our 2022 champion. Chris, how does it feel?
Well, Ben, I mean, obviously winning a Trans Am championship, it's really meaningful. You know, to come out and win it last year was special, and this one's especially meaningful because we've done it 2 years in a row, and I think that underlines the success of the team, and we did it a race sooner than we did last year, which is absolutely fabulous, and the competition hasn't gotten easier.
And you've got some new stuff happening, so tell us about this new chassis.
Well, it's a clean sheet of paper design. It's got all of Bob Riley's experience in it. They've maximized the aerodynamics, they've maximized the available geometry you can utilize for the new tire. They've brought a lot of their diverse experience to play. I mean, this Riley Technologies has forgotten more than most people are ever going to learn, and for us it's a renewal of a relationship that was probably one of the most successful partnerships in all of racing in the 90s and 2000s. We won a lot of races together with our family team. I won my first professional sports car race in a Riley design, and here we are 20 years later and we're still getting it done, and I couldn't be happier for the next couple of races as a launching point for 2023.
I love it. So you're already thinking about and strategizing for 23.
Well, you can't stand still here. I mean, we've got strong entrants. You know, you've got Paul Gentilozzi here with Tommy Dreese. Those guys are not taking this year lightly. You know, we celebrated a lot up at Watkins Glen, and we're still basking in it, but you know, you can't dine out on last weekend's successes in this sport.
So we just heard from Chris Dyson, motorsports legend and two-time TA champion. He's not resting a bit. New car, new chassis, already setting fast time. Chris, congratulations.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, it's been another stellar season for Chris Dyson, but he deserves it. I always like to give credit where credit's due, and Chris Dyson's one of the hardest working racing drivers in town. Talking of which, I'm alongside one, and his name is Andretti. Adam, that is. And Adam, thanks for joining us as always here in the booth. But Chris Dyson, he deserves it, and I love the fact that he's doing a bit of a retro throwback to the 16.
Yeah, no, it's funny is I even said the same thing to him. I said, you got your dad's number? He goes, well, it's been my number too. He goes, just when we first came into Trans Am and came back to Trans Am CD Racing, it was the 16 wasn't available. So the 16 became available. They snatched it up, and I believe we'll see Chris Dyson run for the 2023 championship. We're going to see him run for that number 16.
What about what's ahead of us today? We've got some interesting news. We have Matthew Brabham up here yesterday talking TA2, but of course he's had a bit of a up and down roller coaster weekend with, well, he had a blown up engine on Friday, putting us a big delay back. He's had hardly any time. He did some hardship laps. Are we going to see him come through?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yesterday morning they had a huge engine failure and catastrophic engine failure. You can see it's all back together. Well, that's actually Chris's car, but it's absolutely a job done by CD Racing, as you would expect, because not only the big explosion and changing an engine is one thing, but there was fire involved, and whenever there's fire involved underneath these things, it gets the electronic systems and such. So my wife Tabitha and I, we went out to dinner with Kimberly and Matthew last night, and yeah, and by the time we got back here, CD Racing was pretty much getting ready to, I think, fire that thing up. Like you mentioned, you got some hardship laps, but yeah, you could count on Matty Brabham definitely driving through this field. That's a championship-winning car that he's in. That's Chris's Meissen chassis. As Chris is underneath, he's strapping himself to that new Riley piece that they have over there at CD Racing. Yeah,
let me ask you this. We've got a bit of time before the start of this race. We've been talking in broad terms about this Ave Riley chassis. What is so much better, because it's new, and you expect with new to be better, but what are the drivers saying? What do you know about it? What have you noticed about it? It looks really low strung to me compared to the older car, but what's your take?
Oh, thank you for correcting me, because you're right. Ave Riley. And my apologies to Tony Ave. I totally did not mean to not give you the credit you deserve here, for sure. I got nothing but respect for that man. But no, absolutely, this Ave Riley chassis is just special. That's why it's attracted the attention of special teams like CD Racing, like Kreider Racing with David Peterek, like you'll see one I'm on the grid there, I believe, with Showtime next year. So it's an engineering marvel. It's the future of the TA class. Just like basically Riley's design was what we carried through up until basically now, basically the principle. So he's rewrote the book, but this is another one here. Pancho Weaver, this is a man that's on an entirely different concept. He goes a totally different way. He's an engineer, don't get me wrong, but he's also an engineer in a NASCAR world instead of a prototype world like the Riley gang. And so it's a total two different ways. That's what we love about Trans Am racing. There's so many different ways that you could get the performance. And both of these manufacturers, between Pancho Weaver and Riley, and it's really truly a David versus Goliath story, is pretty special to see there. And I know Pancho's real proud of the equipment that he puts out on track. It wins races. I've been blessed to be able to win races inside his equipment, and I know Boris is excited to strap himself into that TA car today and get to work, especially with all the fun that they have over there at Weaver Racing. So good for them, and again, it's just the philosophies of it all, and it makes it so fascinating inside this paddock.
Yeah, a lot of people may ask why we sort of wax rhapsodic, or certainly Boris does, but we kind of follow suit about what Pancho Weaver achieves with that Challenger, and why Boris said effectively comes out of retirement to race it. And the reason being is that Pancho Weaver's got just a huge history of design and manufacture, and in fact was involved in the Gen 3 car at NASCAR. So, this is a guy who's right at the sharp end of his game.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he's a legend. He's a legend in our sport, just like Riley and Tony Ave. They're legends of the sport. So it only is fitting that they keep on carrying through with these designs. But yeah, the Ave Riley chassis with the engineering of it all, it's a great mix of both aero and mechanical balance. So Johnny,
I want to talk about Keith Grant in a minute, but I want to give you our CBS Sports Network times for the Franklin Road Apparel Company premiere of Trans Am at VIR, and that'll be Thursday, October 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So mark that down in your calendar, and it'll be on again on Friday, October 14th at 9:30 Pacific. So tune in to watch all the highlights, and that gives us a full program. And if you miss anything on the live feed, and we often do, occasionally now and again, so we'll try to give you a clearer picture when we show you the highlights. Let's head down to Ben Sissel, though, who's on the grid, and I'll talk to Adam again after that.
Well, hey, thanks, Jonathan. I'm here at the grid in this beautiful new Ave Riley chassis of Chris Dyson. And everybody was asking if this new car is going to be fast, but we have the proof right here. The new Motul Pole Award winner with Chris Dyson. So not only they just have a brand new car that they're shaking down here, but usually it takes a while to get used to a new car, but obviously not now. Whatever's in this car obviously works really well, because this Ave Riley chassis is really fast with our 2022 champion. And it's funny too, because now he's got 2 open races, VIR and COTA, to kind of test out this car, to put pressure on all the other drivers for 2023, because it is official. Chris Dyson is the 2022 champion. Then we're going to come around here, and I'm going to talk to Boris Said in the Challenger. Out here is kind of, for fun, with another new car in TA. You've had a lot of good luck here in the Challenger. These Weaver concept cars are really fast. You've got this new chassis in front of you that I'm sure you two want to show the Weaver chassis at least just as fast.
I think it's just as fast, and it's half the price. So, our Techniques car and Steal It, we've done a lot of work. It's, 4 years old, but it's still really competitive. So I look at the body, and you could say a few things. It's a lot lower, it's a lot narrower, maybe it has a little advantage body-wise, but it doesn't matter. We're going to drive as hard as we can in this Weaver car.
Nice. And now, another cool thing about Boris Said that we need to talk about, you're still doing the standard age 1, 2, 3, 4 shifting, right?
Yeah, this car has a 4-speed gated shifter, and I think every other car has a 5-speed sequential.
Nice.
So this is more fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, in this TA class, we're talking about these chassis builders because it is a big story.
It is.
This is an innovative class. The rules here are really loose. As the chassis designer, when you look at a new chassis come in, are you seeing what they got right, what they might have gotten wrong?
Well, it's time for us to make up for what they've been looking at for 3 years. We came up with this design about, actually 4 years ago, I guess it is. This car here is a little over a year old, and we're building another new one right now. So
it's always room for improvement, right? Anytime you build something, you always learn, right? So it's cool. We love it. And Trans Am also is an innovative class, and we can go home and we can build what we want and or what we think we want, and just meet a safety package and certain rule parameters, and it's great.
Nice. I love it. Well, Pancho Weaver. Here, we'll come back here. Yeah, watch your step there, George. There's cones here. So we're going to try to get down to Ken Thwaites because that's a big part of the story here. But with Ken Thwaites this weekend with Franklin Road Apparel, Keith Grant, Richard Grant's son, who is so excited. He's had a few starts in TA, but this is the best weather he's ever had. So he's really excited to race here. I spoke to him from Tennessee. Then we've got Tommy Dreese. And I'm looking around trying to find Tommy Dreese. I'd love to talk to him. But Tommy Dreese in this MAV TV Lucas Oil, beautiful number 8 Paul Gentilozzi car. Then we've got Hinkle here. Jeff Hinkle in this beautiful Dodge Challenger with Joe Nemechek. Watch out for this beautiful red Dodge Challenger. Then we've got 2-time champion Amy Ruman. Paul Fix. Paul Fix has been on the podium here with us at VIR several times. Longtime driver in TA. So watch out for Paul Fix. He knows how to win here at VIR. So he's in the Stop Flex DOT stainless hoses Ford Mustang. But the person that I want to talk to, but not interrupt because he's praying right now, is Ken Thwaites. So we're going to let them go through with that. But let's see. We've got David Penterick there in that Ave Riley chassis, but Ken Thwaites, we spoke earlier,
You're starting further back today, and you said it was just in qualifying. So what's your strategy? And tell us the gap between you and Dreesy.
I have a specific plan. It's called see car, pass car. That's all there is. That's all we do.
But you couldn't see cars yesterday. Just because of scheduling, unfortunately, they went out during the sun, and a lot of our drivers are complaining about the visibility. But then you've got Amy Ruman right behind you in points as well with only 2 events to go.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 points between me and Tommy for second place. And so that's the goal, is to get to Tommy and see if we can't get by him and finish in front of him. That's really our game plan. And so hopefully we can get there.
I love it. But to be fighting for second, and really you're so new to the TA series, that is unbelievable. Thank you, Ken, for everything you and Franklin Road are doing for the series. I love it. He says thanks for tuning in. Lee Saunders there, the first in the GT classes. Is that Lee Saunders? There he is, yeah. I'm not used to seeing you in the balaclava, but look at this. This is like a Concours winning paint job on a race car. Unbelievable. But you would expect nothing less from somebody wearing sunglasses like that. And we're going to move up here through the GT cars to come up for our invocation. So we've got David Pinterick here. XGT here. That should be, is that Lowry? Who's in this car? Oh, Danny Lowry with Bridge Hall here. This is our first in XGT here. Danny Lowry. What? I thought he was in the Audi.
Lost the engine in the Audi yesterday in qualifying, so Danny went back to his house, picked up this car, and came back to run it today.
You lost the engine in the Audi? It's in the back of the car.
Correct.
Oh,
it's somewhere in the back, but it's in multiple pieces right now. So we lost some of the parts.
Nice. But see, look at well, I got to point this out then. So that's 2 races in a row you've had to over-hustle to get on track. Bridge Hall doing logistics, Danny Lowry overdoing logistics to try to make the races, but you're going to take it. Danny Lowry, my new hero here in Trans Am. We've got Matt Brabham here, and look at this. That's another Motul Pole Award. These aren't Matt Brabham's here. These are Chris Dyson's. He's in the Chris Dyson Championship winning car. He had an issue yesterday. I think he lost a motor yesterday and had a little bit of a fire issue. Then we've got the SGTs. This is Pierce right here, I believe. Let's just make sure. No, this is Larry Bailey. Larry Bailey in the yellow Corvette, the LSI. Then we've got G-Luck right here. He joined us at Road Atlanta, so welcome back, guys. Very nice. Look at these, the patriotic car. Here he is, G-Luck. Welcome back, man. And tell us, what in the world is this thing again? I know I've asked you that before.
This is a GTM Factory 5. It's a kit car built by Dave Smith and the guys in Massachusetts. We turned it into a race car and race it for the Gallant Few, which is a ranger organization to help U.S. Army Rangers.
Perfect. I love it. G-Luck, thanks for being here again, man. I love it. And then we've got Billy Griffin here, who's always fast in the GT class, and he's actually testing a new car for next year. Then Richard Grant. So we've got Keith Grant there in third, his dad Richard Grant here, Kerry Grant here, who is Keith's cousin. And, Kerry, Richard, and Milton are longtime Trans Am racers, and Keith is kind of joining us, I think, for the 3rd or 4th time. We're looking for Bill Knox, our chaplain, to do the invocation. I'm not seeing him anywhere, but if not, we're going to have to get Joe Nemechek to do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking for Bill Knox, but in the meantime, we've got Christy Wilkins here to do the national anthem. So if you will remove your hats and get ready for the national anthem. Christy, thank you so much for doing this for us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, who say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Christy Wilkins, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such a beautiful location here at VIRginia International Raceway. We are going to take a commercial break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with the invocation and the most famous words in motorsports.
What we'll do.
At Ryan, we seek to understand our clients' unique business needs and offer insights from over 75 years of experience. Our menu of integrated services span the entire life cycle of your building, from financing and development to design and construction to property management and maintenance. We think like building owners because we are building owners, and we work hard to assure that your building stays functional and cost-effective for generations to come.
My name is Monse, and I am a senior at Cristo Rey. We bring high school students and corporations together to transform education. I work 1 day a week at Ryan Companies. There are Cristo Rey schools serving students across the country. Visit CristoRayNetwork.org and learn how you can become a corporate partner today.
Well, welcome back to the grid at the Mission Foods VIR SpeedTour. We've got Bill Knox here to give us the invocation. Such a beautiful day, Bill. Take it away.
If you join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you all the praise and glory for this glorious day that you provided for us and for this fine facility in which we're racing, Father. Father, we ask for your hand of protection to be upon the drivers, the crews, the spectators. Keep them all safe, Father. We also ask for you to stand with our military, our police, and our first responders, Father. Keep them safe, bring them all home. In your Son's most precious name we pray. Amen.
Bill, thank you so much. Well, Jonathan and Adam, I'm going to send it back up to you for you to walk.
Great stuff, Ben. Thank you so much. Let's just take a look at the grid. Chris Dyson in pole position for the Altwell CBD Ford Mustang. Boris said alongside him. Keith Grant coming into the championship, just another Grant. And Tommy Dreesy's had some problems over the weekend, but we'll talk about that later. Hinkle in 5th and Amy Ruman alongside. Paul Fix and David Pintarik. Then it's Ken Thwaites 9th and Lee Saunders leading the SGT in 10th. Derek Cope, good to see him back again in 11th. And Kerry Hitt in 12th. Likewise, good to see Kerry back. Danny Lowry in 13th. Swap of cars, it won't matter. He's not in that Audi, but he'll be fine. Jose Chocron in 14th position, and then it's Milton Grant and Aaron Pierce. That's rounding out the top 16. A little further down, Cary Grant, another one of the Grants, 17th place, and his brother alongside him in 18th position. Billy Griffin is 19th, and Brian Gluck in that Factory 5 car alongside him. And then in 21st position, it's Larry Bailey and Matthew Brabham with no time after that problem in practice means he will start at the very back in that championship-winning TA Chris Dyson car. But don't worry, Brabham is on the money and he'll be coming through. So we'll keep an eye. We'll do a watch, if you will, on Matthew Brabham, because I'm sure it won't be long before he's vying for a top 10, if not a podium, before the end of this 100-mile race. I'm Jonathan Green. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Andretti, and I'm delighted that he's here with me because let's just put a bit of historical perspection on this one. Trans Am, why do we get sort of teary-eyed about it? Well, the 4th ever Trans Am race was held right here at VIR back in 1966. And if I start mentioning names like Paul Newman and Richard Petty and Wendell Scott, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about.
Right.
These were the big boys, and we've never forgotten them. 55 years on, 56 years on. But that's why American fans get so excited about Trans Am.
Absolutely, because it's got it created the legends of the sport, and it still is. You know, like we were witness to yesterday, a young man, Brent Cruz, out there grabbing his 3rd win in TA2 at 14 years of age, and that's the future of our sport as we see it. And you have people like Chris Dyson, you have Boris Said, you have this man right here, Ken Twaits, who's been around this sport for so long. So there's so many just great names out here that are going to take a long time to forget. So, and that's what Trans Am does. I always remember that about A.J. Foyt. He always said, A.J. Foyt didn't make the Indianapolis 500. The Indianapolis 500 made A.J. Foyt. Yeah. And I feel the same way about the sport as a whole. The sport is what really determines us as athletes, and it's just the Trans Am series and all its history and the way that it operates on the level that it operates. It's just, you're always proud to be a part of it.
And we get ready. Tommy Dreese had some problems over the weekend. He missed a lot of Friday's practice, didn't get out there, but I talked to the team. They said they had some bodywork issues, and so it's been a tough time for Tommy to be out there and running hard. But as a man who's actually won here at VIR in Trans Am, tell us a little bit about how to go about that.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, like you saw yesterday, stay out of trouble. Keep your nose clean. It's a very, very technical track. It's a very difficult track, but it's a track that also exudes patience, especially as we see with traffic, especially. And this is going to be a traffic-filled day here. There's a lot of discrepancy in speed between 3 classes, so I would preach that to literally anybody I would be on the radio with if I was on the radio with any of the drivers today, is that it's about keeping this thing on the pavement. With the last 25, 30 miles here, you can start to attack and see where you're at, because you're probably going to get some late race slowdowns. I hate to say it, but it seems to be kind of the pattern here at VIR. It can be an exhausting place to race, although it's a beautiful day. It's absolutely glorious fall day here in Virginia. So it ought to be a very comfortable day inside the race car, but still it's physical out there. So got to keep your head between you, like always, Johnny.
Let me ask you this then. Where, we just saw some great drone shots, where is a place to attack? Where is a place to conserve and be careful at VIR? So give us a few of the nuances about where you can maybe attack if you're trying to make an overtake or trying to make up some time, or where is a place where you just don't try something silly?
Well, there's a lot of places not to do something silly here, that's for sure. But you want to attack when not expecting to. I gave Brent Cruz a huge amount of kudos yesterday because that pass into turn 3, it's just you're not expecting it. Even we saw Connor Mosak as the leader turn in because he thought, no way, someone's coming in there, and there was the youngster. So surprise attacks are good if they can be calculated, and that was good and calculated. Turn 1 down here is a great place to set up, especially as you can come down off of Hawk Pens and down onto the front straightaway. You can get yourself a really, really, really good run, and that gives you a great run down into turn number 1. So that's why those are probably the 2 key places as far as like a surprise attack and like absolutely clean. Oak Tree, you can, but you're kind of asking for it. You better get it real good and clean. And then at the end of the back straightaway there, turn number 14, that is a very, very difficult to get a place to get the job done, the pass done. So yeah, those are really the places that you got to go and attack. But if you can get it, you got to get it done. When you quit going for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. I believe a little Brazilian named Ayrton Senna said that.
We just saw Dyson's record. Talking about Ayrton Senna, I'll tell you what, even Ayrton would be pleased with that record this year. It's been a fantastic couple of years for Chris Dyson. And I guess I can ask you another racing question here. Does Dyson sort of say, well, I've got the championship, I'll just lay off here? Or is that not the nature of a racing driver?
Well, no, because he's developing this car to run for a championship in 2023. So this is going to be balls to the wall here.
Okay, fair enough. Talking of which, let's head down to Ben. He's down in the pit lane once again in front of Chris Dyson.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. I'm here with Jimmy Day with the Optimus Search for the Ultimate Street Car. And I hate to say this, but they might have the coolest cars here this weekend. But, Jimmy, you're about to deliver the most famous words in motorsports. So, Jimmy, take the mic and take it away.
All right, on behalf of the entire Optima Batteries team, drivers, start your engines!
Nice. Thank you very much, Jimmy Day. It's about to get loud. Thank you so much.
That's not just because Ben's talking. No, the engines are running.
Yeah, absolutely, and those are words that never get old to me, nope. or any race fan. And hearing a beautiful national anthem, the way that was done, and the invocation, these are some traditions of our sport that just make it as special as it is. So it's fantastic.
Going to throw something at you that just might entice you and many others listening. The champion of Trans Am in Australia last week got an entry into Bathurst.
You know, I did get an email with an invite to Bathurst. I know.
I'm looking at you because I know you got a twinkle in your eye. You'd love to do that.
I mean, I'm afraid of driving a streetcar in Australia. With my habits, they're
110K is the limit there.
Yeah, they're liable not to let me out of the country. But no, it would be a wonderful honor to go down there. What a cool honor as a champion to get to go to Bathurst. And I mean, the Bathurst 1000 is one of the ultimate events in all of motorsports. You're talking Indy 500, 24 hours at Daytona, Le Mans, Daytona. I mean, these are world events, and the Bathurst 1000 is certainly one of them.
Great battle about to ensue between Arve Riley's new chassis and a Poncho Weaver prepared Boris Said at the wheel car Dodge Challenger. Just as it was in the day, as it is and always will be here in 2022. Trans Am at its finest. The longer it gets, the better it is. And we are celebrating the best road racing series and the longest running road racing series in the United States of America. That roar tells you everything you need to know about why we enjoy this sport. VIR will not disappoint. Glad to see the all bright blue Lucas prepared, and we're on board with him. Tommy Dreesy car out there. Tommy's always a thrill a minute. He's from Hollywood and he writes the script for most of his races, and he's going to be out there again today doing exactly that. But we do have some really good stories. Good to see Keith Grant out there, another one of the Grant family, but not just another one. He's been doing a lot of LMP IMSA stuff, LMP3 stuff with his brother, so he is handy behind the wheel of a sports car and knows VIR well. And also, we're going to keep an eye on Matty Brabham. How far can he get? What do you think?
It's funny you say another Grant. I remember that in the early 90s, they would say another Andretti in IndyCar.
Yes.
So, and there ended up being four of us, at one point in there, and cousins and uncles and brothers and such like that. So between the four of them, but really, really cool to see the Grants out here doing their thing, and Keith Grant, honor for him to be in our paddock as well. Like I said, he's been out there mixing up with my nephew Jared in the LMP3 class in IMSA, where so that's a very, very challenging series, very challenging cars to drive, and I'm anxious to see after his weekend what his assessment is of what he thought of these TA cars.
Now, serious question as we go on board with Tommy Dreesy again, but I've just been watching a documentary on the Murdoch Empire and who will take over. Now, what about the Andretti Empire? Who gets to do the two-seater after Mario hangs up the helmet?
I think he's going to outlive all of us anyway, so I don't think it's something that none of us have to worry about.
Trouble is, if you get that accolade, you have to decorate the Christmas tree.
Exactly right, no, it's incredible here, and we're looking here at Kent Thwaites, getting the car warmed up. It's like I said, it's a cool ambient day here, like yesterday, Jonathan Green, and but the sun's out, so that means that I bet track temp is right where they need it to be. So got to just get that chill off the tire from sitting around out there in the cold ambient, and once they get out there and get some temperature in, it's going to be good times to go rolling. But this is looking forward to this. We're going to probably maybe see a breakaway from the top two when you look at practice pace from the weekend, and really Chris Dyson, Matthew Brabham, and which he has to come through the field, but Matthew Brabham and Boris Said in that Weaver Dodge have all kind of been on a plane of their own. So it should be a really good, fun battle up to the top three. I'm sure Matty wouldn't mind once he gets through some of this back marker of the field of the mixed class racing, if he can't just get to a little bit of slowdown in action and bunch up those top three and get to mixing it up there with the top with those top two. What I predict, hopefully, coming forward in this race, as Chris Dyson is looking right square in the back of that pace car of ours from Trans Am Series.
Yeah, you mentioned a very good point. I said, does Chris Dyson lay back now? He's got the championship. Heck no. He's developing this car, and so he's going to go hell-bent for leather for sure here at VIR. He's got the famous 16. His dad carried that, as he has earlier in his career, but he has got his own number 20 being driven by Matthew Brabham. But yeah, I can assure you that with this new chassis, he'll want to show certainly the challenger behind him. And I don't just mean the challenger, I mean the Dodge behind him of Boris Said. Boris, a handy man to take on here at VIR, always loves it here, has raced this identical car at VIR for the first time, I think it was, when they a few years ago before COVID. So Boris knows what he's doing in that car, and he'll give Dyson a run for his money. We're going to go around another lap.
Yeah, he won here, I believe it was 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in a Weaver Dodge, and really just did it in dominating fashion that year. So I think it'll be harder work for him this year for sure. And then this is the battle for second in points here, isn't it, Jonathan Green?
Yeah, the battle for second is not over by any means. Tommy Dreesy's second, but he can't catch Dyson, obviously, the championship over. But Ken could certainly, 6 points behind Dreesy, catch him. And Ruman has had a really good run since mid-Ohio and is right there in that Corvette number 23 McNichols machine.
Yeah, this is what the race is on in the championship right now, and this is a great, great battle for second place. And these all kind of got jockeyed up throughout the year, and really, like, Amy has been that solid, just keep on bringing it home, keep on bringing it home. She had the rare DNF there up at Watkins Glen. Otherwise, this picture might even look a little bit different had that not happened, considering all the other problems. And really the great run that Tommy Dreesy ended up having there is what catapulted him back up into this fight. So it's been really fascinating, and it's not going to end here. So that battle for second place is going to carry all the way down to Circuit of the Americas in a month's time.
Well, I know you're looking forward to that if you can get a chance to get behind the wheel, because everybody loves racing at October. Chris Dyson will be there. That is at the beginning of November as we finish off our season. Beautiful conditions here at VIR. Dyson looking to finish on a high. It's been one heck of a season, as we've said, but the race is on for the runner-up spot in this championship. Talk about living the dream. You know, we saw a little shot there of Ken Thwaites. I always think about, you know, it's a hackneyed phrase. We always say, oh, I'm living the dream, living the dream. Well, Ken Thwaites is living the dream, because he literally became a champion with that Audi R8 a couple of years ago in XGT, when it became a category which he helped invent and helped sort of procure. And yeah, it's just great to see him now forming his own Showtime team at Nashville. He was in his element with 4 cars, and he even brought the head of Trackhouse to race for him in TA as well, in Justin Marks. And, you know, the guy is absolutely firing on all cylinders. And as a professional, this is a guy that gave up racing for a long time, and he's come back.
Yeah, he went to run his business, and run his business he did. And I was one of those blessed to be recipients in that business. And it's a wonderful business, the ride drive business that he's had a company operating in for many, many years now. And he's an entrepreneur, so that's just the tip of the iceberg for him. He's got, and Franklin Road Apparel, as we know, is a title sponsor of our event here, and a huge supporter of the series. This is another business of his as well, and he's not only, you say he's living the dream, but he's a man that is just so humble and enjoying every moment of his life and his blessings. And his wife Shelly's around a lot and enjoying this, and they're in their Renegade, and they just they have a great time coming here to these Trans Am races, and it truly is just a wonderful paddock to be in. If we're ever in your neighborhood, you know where to come. Find us, because it's a great place to be for sure. Here we come to getting the green here, Jonathan.
Onto the main straight, out of the hog pen. It's 100 miles, win or bust here in Trans Am, as the TA, XGT, SGT and GT cars head down for the Mission Foods VIR SpeedTour. Good start from Boris Said. The green flag waves. Dyson's got away well, though. And already jostling for position is Boris Said in second place, and he dives into that seconds and clears it. Dreesy's got away well. McNichols, number 23 of Amy Ruman, going round the outside of Hinkle.
Yeah, Keith Grant was looking really racy there, and Boris got nice and wide on the entry there as Ken Thwaites getting a little bit of a wiggle there, getting into 3.
Yeah, I think he got touched from behind then, actually.
Right. Yeah, I believe you're right. I believe he had a little bit of help.
Oh, that's more than a touch, though. Ken Thwaites in big trouble. That's a double hit, and Thwaites is out, and we were on board for it.
Yeah, that was absolutely just turned right down on Ken Thwaites. Jeff Hinkle did there. Just wasn't expecting him to be there at all. But when the doors open, you have to expect that someone could be.
And there's more drama. Look
there, and we got a Porsche turned around. Lot of stuff coming on outside there.
Wow, this has been a dramatic start. Whew, take your breath, folks, because well, that all started when we were on board with Ken Thwaites out of 1, and I saw him get a hit from behind, and then suddenly he got embroiled with Hinkle, who'd already gone around the outside and got overtaken. Let's have a look. Look, we're on board with Ken. Watch, boom. That's a hit to me.
Yeah,
he now
absolutely
turns in on his normal line.
And he's right behind Paul Fix there. Paul Fix gets a run on Jeff Hinkle. The door's open, and Jeff Hinkle goes and shuts it right down, even though Ken was right there inside. And then the second hit comes from, it's a bounce. You bounce off. And it looks like, I hope Ken didn't injure himself. I think it looked like maybe his left wrist might have get caught in the wheel there if we get another replay of that, another shot to look at that. But we're going to be full course caution for this, and that's not a surprise. We see some
damage.
One of our Porsches.
And you got to think that Hinkle's reaction was due to the fact that Paul Fix had come through, and he was like, hecking, I've left the door open here. I've got to get across, because he wasn't turning into the corner at that specific moment. He was trying to defend his position, having already been overtaken on that mini straight. Full caution then, and we take our breath here. But a dramatic start to our 100 miles here as the tow trucks get more lap times than the cars at the moment. Out they go at the beginning of the Snake.
That was Cary Grant, the Porsche that we saw with the body parts hanging off of it, unfortunately. I don't think that's going to be a race ending. Hopefully not. But we talk about the Grant family, and unfortunately one of them, I guess when you have the high percentages of them in the field, chances if there's going to be a problem out there, one of them might get hit by it. But yeah, that was an absolute shame there. And I mean, it's kind of hard to see from that angle on the overhead. But yeah, you know, when you're on these starts, Jonathan, it's so important to always look in your mirrors before you turn in the corner, because that's when we're packed up. That's when anyone can attack, and it's at the you got to be expecting the unexpected. And when the door was left open like that, you're gonna go for that hole, and that's exactly what Ken Thwaites did, and it came shutting down. It came shutting down quick, fast, and a hurry in him. And unfortunately, it looks like it definitely ended the race for Ken Thwaites. And that's a shame. He's just had a really, really rotten bit of luck here lately.
Yeah, there we are picking him up, how he's living the dream. Well, the dream came to a bit of a nightmare there. But never mind. At the front, Chris Dyson still leading from Boris said. Keith Grant got a good start, and it's good to see Keith involved this weekend, because we've seen plenty of Milton and Richard, but we haven't seen too much of Keith Grant here in Trans Am, and he's in a good position in third. Tommy Dreesy just behind him, and of course the Dreesy-Ruman battle is about to commence in fourth and fifth, and I say that because those two have got some pretty good history over the years.
Absolutely, they definitely have. Anybody who's been a Trans Am fan for some time knows some history there. But absolutely, I mean, that's all well and done. That's water underneath the bridge. We're all professionals here, but it's down to point fight for them too. Obviously, this has really hurt Ken moving forward going into. But then again, there's a lot of racing left here today. A ton of racing left going up for us here today, Jonathan. I think we've been joined by a guest here.
Yes, would you like to introduce him?
Yes, right here. We got Mike Evok. Mike Evok here is Racing for Heroes. Welcome, Mike, up here to the booth as we see the damage on another one of the Grant cars. So it looks like that one was fell victim of two Grant cars. This is Richard Grant. But welcome up here to the booth, Mike. Tell us about yourself here in Racing for Heroes.
Thanks for having me, Adam. We Racing for Heroes is a 501c3 nonprofit for disabled veterans. We use racing as a platform to get the veterans to come in and use it for racing therapy too.
That absolutely, and you were so gracious to open your doors this morning to my wife Tabitha and I, and give us a tour of what you're doing. And it's so much more than what meets the eye. I mean, there's a lot to be said for reaching out and therapies and just talking with these veterans to help with the cause. But you're going that extra mile. I mean, you have a hyperbaric chamber in there. You have doctors that are coming on staff. Speak a little bit about how you're growing this and what you guys are doing that's so unique to help with the mental health of our veterans.
for the unique side of it, we use an unconventional method, trying to get the guys and gals off the conventional meds. So using vitamin programs, a hyperbaric chamber, flotation tanks, things like that. And then having our own doctor on board is very helpful. He knows, he understands, he's a veteran himself, so he gets it to 100%. Plus, he's a client.
That's that's awesome. But and I tell you, like, you know, one of the statistics that always floors anybody out there is the number 22. And I think I know my sister personally, she works with the American Legion on the marketing department at the national office in Indianapolis. My sister-in-law Diane works there as well. But I know how big of a mission it is for this 22. And for those that don't know what the number 22 means, every 22 minutes we have a veteran unfortunately taking their own life. But there's a more scary statistic, and the way that you have put the numbers together that I think is even more eye-opening, and it certainly touched me last night when I read it. Speak to that a little bit, the ratio.
So the 22's a number. I don't know how accurate it is. Nobody really does. But the real number is 4 to 5. So 5 to 1 ratio. So for every person we've lost in combat, veteran we lost in combat, we lose 5 with the war at home, dealing with the stresses of combat and coming back from combat. It's a lot different nowadays, you know. You can be in a firefight on Wednesday, and with aircraft, you're back in your living room on Friday evening, and there's no decompression zone in there. So it's a big, you know, bullets flying to wife and kids, you know, asking daily questions. It's not an easy transition. We don't have an off and on switch. No. We don't have a kill switch like a race car.
You're human. You're human,
right.
and
exactly.
So that's the one that really hit me. But you know, and it is National Mental Health Awareness Month. On top of like breast cancer awareness, and you know, we spoke earlier. If you don't know somebody who has mental health, I don't know if you've actually lived. You know, every family's either been affected by it, either on the mental health side or as tragic as suicide is on that side. So thank you for bringing attention to that and helping out these veterans and taking it to the next level. I've seen you grow in a year. I look forward to seeing what you do with Racing for Heroes in the years to come, because I honestly see a vision where you could be setting up your facilities all over this country and helping out so many people that could use that help.
Yeah, we are growing. We've got facilities we're working out on the West Coast all the way back through. So it's time and energy. You know, it takes a while to grow. It doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure.
No, sir. Well, tell the fans at home how they can help out, and thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, just reach out to us on racingforheroes.org. Just go to www.racingforheroes.org, see what we're doing. Come out and support us. Come out and check us out at the track. 17 December, we have a Blue Jean Gala here at VIR. So you put your car on the track all day, then come have some beverages and some music and some food and bid on some auction items we have in the evening.
That's awesome. That's great stuff. And you can find Mike on the racetrack too, dirt late model races as well. But thank you again, Mike. It's a treat having you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to Mike Evok for Racing for Heroes under our caution, and of course Adam Andretti. We're getting the latest from the caution. We're under caution because there's been so much going on. Let's see if we can hit up Ben for the latest. He's been running around the pit lane, finding out who's hurt, who's not, and I say hurt, but which cars are damaged, I should say. Nobody's hurt. But let's see if we can bring Ben in and find out what's happened down in the pits.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
That's
hey, thanks, guys. I'm here with Jeremy Joyner with Franklin Road Apparel and Ken Twaits. You said you were watching it. What did you see, and what's your driver saying?
I haven't heard anything from him, but it looks like somebody got in the back of him, got him loose. He got his line, and it looked like Hinkle just shut the door on him and bounced off of him and hit him again. So we don't know anything yet.
And with such a close race for the championship for a second for Ken Twaits, I know that means a lot. This has really got to hurt.
Yeah, we hadn't had a good weekend with Ken. We just can't catch a break, but we'll see. Well, as soon as we hear something from him, we'll know more.
All right, well, there's some Jeremy Joyner here. Gentlemen, I'm going to send it back up to you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, we are looking at the replay, and I want to bring Adam in again here. You were talking about that double bounce. That's almost an effect of the first hit, right?
Yeah, that's the inertia. That's the energy just coming, has nowhere else to go. And I call it you get stuck to each other. The first one might have been intentional, but the second one wasn't. You tried to get away from each other, but that was an absolute shame. I feel so bad for Ken. He didn't even get his race started. Like Jeremy said there, they just haven't caught a break all weekend long. He couldn't catch a break in qualifying, and just one of those weekends. And I'm sure he just wants to get this behind him, move on to Coda. That's all part of our game, right? You got to we always focus forward in this game, like we should.
Well, we've had a long caution, and as drivers, I wonder, this has got to be tough when it doesn't matter whether you're Chris Dyson at the front that we're looking at here, or Boris trying to chase him down. You've got to go through some systems checks. You've got to make sure that car is ready to go, and you're ready to go, more importantly, mentally, because you get all G'd up for the adrenaline at the start of a race, and then you have 20 minutes where you suddenly...
Yeah, right. And we're going to get going green, I think, this time by is what the word is. But nonetheless, that's absolutely right, Jonathan. Your adrenaline's all ready to go. You get the green, and then, your shoulders go down. You're like, man, are you kidding me? We're going to go caution right away. And so you're right. It's like the womp 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 music in the background. And but nonetheless, they're going to get going racing this time around. And we got another guest up here with us.
Yeah, I'm just about to say whether I bring him in or not, because I think we're about to go racing. But yeah, we're going to get some insight here from plenty of people as the day goes on, but I've got a feeling we're going to have plenty of time to talk in a minute.
Right, yeah.
Because I think we're going to have a busy day. We've lost quite a lot of attrition in the opening lap of this one because, just to catch you up, involved in a big incident was Hinkle and Ken Thwaites. Thwaites coming off worst. I think Hinkle got some damage, but he's still out there. Ken was hit from behind and then suddenly got into the side of Hinkle twice and then went off.
And 50% of the grants, unfortunately, were involved in that with
They'll
Kerry
need a grant
and
just to get the repairs done.
Yeah, right.
Away we go then! And a good restart from Chris Dyson, but here comes Boris Said looking up the inside, looking menacing in that Poncho Weaver prepared Dodge Challenger Dayglow Yellow. 5 of the 31.
We've seen that Challenger anytime it's hit the track this year. It's got some great handling down the straightaway on top of everything else, but it showed right there some great acceleration, and he was poking the nose, and Chris Dyson had to do a little bit of protecting there, but Chris has seemed to open up a tad bit of a gap here, a couple of car lengths, and we'll see how that happens after we get through the S's. I believe when we get into the high-speed stuff, that's really when we see what this new Ave Riley chassis is really made of.
Looks very smooth. Every driver I've spoken to, I keep trying to pinpoint, because I'm not going to drive one. I always try to pinpoint what they're saying about it, and everyone to a man has said, it just feels more like a race car.
I'll give you a hint. The keys to Dyson's are in it at night, so you just got to go sneak in there, Jonathan.
Good to know. Where does he keep them? Oh, God. It's menacing enough having Brabham in his car. He does not need green.
Right, exactly. No, I've seen you here last year in a Tesla, I believe it was, wasn't it? So
let's not talk about that. Matt's here today.
Last thing we need you is out there going out in 900 horsepower, one of these monsters. But as we get back to racing here, I believe that's our GT class leader there in Aaron Pierce in the number 26 Chevrolet Corvette. Right behind, I believe that was Saunders there. And Brabham moving up through the field as he's in P9 already, as we're only on lap 5. And I believe it's only working the second lap of green flag action.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on all the classes because we've obviously got TA, XGT, SGT, and GT. Billy Griffin out there as well this weekend. And we're also keeping an eye on Cochran, the man from Panama who had a issue with his power steering earlier in the weekend. I went and saw him, and he showed the power steering to me and said, "This broke. This is no good." But he's back out and running.
Matt Brabham he's up at a P6 now, right behind. It looks like Paul Fix. So the teammates there working their way through the field. I believe Paul Fix there, P5.
Yep.
Or 6, excuse me. So it's a battle for 6 that's between Paul Fix and the teammate there, Matt Brabham.
Yeah, Paul Fix top 5 last time out at the Glen. So good to see Paul Fix. He's had an on and off again season where he's been in the car and then come back.
Yeah, he and his wife Lauren are having a great time over there at CD Racing, and it's been well received. And I know that they're just the opportunity to get into Humaid's car and come out here and get back to race for the Trans Am Series. I know they really chomping at the bit to do that. So it's great to have them back in here, and Paul's there doing a great job, holding a pretty wheel.
Yeah, Humaid Massoud is another one that has not had a full season in this nice white and blue car, but when he gets a chance, he races hard for Chris Dyson. And here comes Brabham. Well, I didn't say it would take long, did I? And the Altwell number 20 is up another place, and now I think he's right behind. It looks like Amy Ruman and Tommy Dreesy, and he's going to make short work of those two if he can. But it gets a bit harder the closer you get to the guys fighting each other. And I'm thinking Dreesy and Ruman here as the LSI Corvette comes in of Pierce. No, Bailey.
No, that's going to be Bailey, yeah. So, the SGT of Bailey in there. But that is under the same camp of Aaron Pierce. So they're out of Indiana like myself. So it's nice to see a couple of Hoosiers here in the paddock and seeing them around. But you see Matt Brabham's already caught up to Amy Ruman. I bet Amy, as savvy as she is, she's not going to make it real hard work for Matt Brabham out there. I think she's going to go ahead and say, go down and get Tommy Dreesy for me and see if I can't open up a hole and see if I can't get in there and get some of these points.
So Dyson with a 1 second lead over Boris Said, who's keeping a watchful eye on him. Keith Grant in third position. Dreesy and Ruman about to go into battle, but then Brabham is coming through as we go back on board with Chris Dyson. About to head through the Optima S's one more time and up the hill.
Yeah, Chris is just really laying down nice, consistent lap times. No real drama out there at all. I think these are just cruising laps for him. He's just setting a pace right now because that could keep him from being under the attack. He got Keith Grant out there just running a lonesome third place, but don't look too hard because Matt Brabham's got through on the two-time champ of Amy Ruman, and he's right on the back bumper now of Tommy Dreesy.
Looks as though Ken Twaits has just come into the pits, and we obviously knew about his incident, but he managed to crawl back to the pits by the sound of things. So we'll see if Ben can catch up with him. I can't see him myself yet.
It sounds
Brabham already got past Amy Ruman.
Sounds like maybe he might have Ken around there. So yeah, we'll get confirmation on that. But yeah, good racing here all the way through the pack as we see Matthew Brabham right there on the tail of Tommy Dreesy. This is for the fourth position here. So, or is it for P3? I think it might. No, P4. Excuse me, P4. Yeah, right behind Keith Grant there, who's rounding out the podium positions. But you see Matthew would really roll the corner with a lot of speed inside that CD Racing Allgram and Altwell CBD Ford Mustang.
So we're on board with Tommy Dreesy as he crosses the line again, flat out at over 160 miles an hour. And Brabham almost alongside him as they come down towards the first corner, but Matty holds back. The former Indy Lights champion because he was been racing in Indy Lights this year as well and almost won it again. But truck racer, Indy Lights racer, and Trans Am.
You can see how late they took each other into the braking zone there. They both couldn't get to the apex, and Dreesy barely kept it on. Oh, nice dive down into turn 4 there for Matthew Brabham as he's going to go on the attack now. So Keith's going to, been enjoying a little bit of lonesome time here, but I think he's going to get a nice little elbows up battle here for Matthew Brabham. That's going to make some exciting viewership for us all.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Boris said has been doing double duty, and there's two men here in the booth, Tommy Sheehan and Adam Andretti. You could tell us a little bit about doing double duty, or a lot of racing anyway.
Well, we raced this weekend, and in the TA2 class, and the Mike Hope camp had a pretty good weekend. The cars ran pretty strong, and I think it was a pretty entertaining race. But today, it's all about TA, and I'm here to support the TA class, and been hanging out with Chris Dyson. He's kind of a mentor for me. Very high-level team doing incredible things in the series. And
that's high praise from a guy who's been here, done that, and got the T-shirt. You've got a lot of races under your belt, but it just shows you the respect that Dyson has in this particular field, doesn't it?
They are the best. They are truly a high-level professional team, and that's what the TA series is all about. These are really powerful cars, very technical, and they do a great job showcasing that class.
What do you see there, boys?
That's not good. I can see. I mean, I'm not an engine builder, but that doesn't look good, and that looked like a little mix of oil and water coming out of the exhaust pipes, and I'm sure Boris is somewhat like a kaboom, maybe is the hand signal I see, but that's not good. So we're going to see a replay here. Tommy Dreese, see if we see what happened here as far as with the this is a good pass underneath Matthew Brabham. That was a pass for fourth place. What a nice job. What textbook pass. Very similar to what we saw Brent Cruz do one corner earlier late yesterday in TA2 race.
Yeah, you got to think now that with Boris said in the pits, Dyson's on his own, but he's going to have the company of his teammate fairly soon. So that could be a good show to put on.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. No, Matthew's coming, and like I said, if this gets bunched up again, Matthew actually needed that caution to come out like 3 or 4 laps into the race. After he got through some of the field, but that caution came out right away, and he was still buried in traffic. So, but he's made short work of this and got himself onto a podium spot. And how about Keith Grant up there in a P2?
Really impressive.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing and thinking this is his first ever TA race, and he's showing up to be doing a great job here. And I would expect that. These cars, they're it's far cry from an LMP3 car.
Yeah, no kidding.
But he's with an LMP3 car. You got to hold the foot to the floor when it's telling you shouldn't, and that's a lot like a TA car.
Yeah, I was just looking at Lee Saunders leading the way in SGT. He's got a good battle on his hands. And Saunders currently 9th overall, but he's got Aaron Pierce behind him in the 26, that all-yellow car. So this is a good battle for position in SGT. And Lee Saunders, as always, in that Dodge Viper, the man from Florida. As Dyson's starting to pass through some of the other cars, looking at the traffic here. And now is the important time for him. He's got to keep his concentration. He won't be too worried to hear that Matthew Brabham's behind him and Grant is behind him. But he can probably hear on the radio that Brabham is coming and coming fast.
These are data laps right now for Chris Dyson and this new Ave Riley chassis, and you could probably speak to that more, Tom, since you've been real close to the team and watching them develop this for a few months now.
Yeah, bringing in a new car to a program is always a big challenge. You test, but until you drive that car in anger, under heavy pressure, where you got guys like Boris said, breathing down your neck, you really don't know what you got, and you really don't know what's going to wear out and how long it's going to last. So some great information these guys are going to learn over this next race or two to get ready for next year.
David Pintarik in the number 57. Great to see him back racing. He had some time off during the COVID period. Got quite ill and was worried that he wouldn't have the strength and to come back, but he came back with a vengeance, and quite emotional when he did too. And so I'm really happy to see David. Got to know him well since his return to racing. Sadly though, it looks as though he's parked up and not going anywhere.
So this is Ave Riley, I believe 001, chassis 001, and this one, the number 16 is 003. So that's absolutely the number one of these Ave Riley new Trans Am chassis that David Paterick unfortunately just retired in. But David was just here a week ago during the SCCA runoff, sat on pole in the thing. Unfortunately, the wet wasn't too kind to him. I'll leave it at that. But nonetheless, another honor for David Paterick and his whole race team is, a big deal for us racers right in the wintertime, the beginning of December is, and you see Matthew Brabham has caught up to Keith Grant and is hounding the young driver right there. But PRI, the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show, they always hang a race car up at the main entry, and it's like so cool to see this race car hanging up. Well, David Paterick gets to have his race car hanging up there, so it'll not only be that race car, it's going to be that big, beautiful American flag, and what a great way to celebrate our sport. So as we see Matthew Brabham right on the tail, Kerry hit some traffic ahead, trying to time this out and get this timed properly, because up the S's is when this gets to be a little tricky. But Matthew's more than patient. He's such a professional that he's not going to rush this. He knows that he's got pace on it, and we're literally got 20 laps left here, Tom.
Yeah, I think he's going to wait. Go ahead.
I was really impressed with Keith Grant in qualifying yesterday. I thought he did a phenomenal job. Not a lot of time in that car. He was impressive. He was smooth. He looked comfortable. So let's see how he does. Matty is outstanding, incredible talent. A great test for Keith Grant to see what he can do with Matty Brabham.
You know, I mean, I know there's been a fair few Brabhams in the past, but I think Sir Jack would smile kindly on this young man, because Matthew is the epitome of what Sir Jack was and how it all started for the great Jack Brabham, because, you know, he pretty much turns his hand at any kind of car. He's your classic kind of racing driver. Give me some wheels and I'll show you what I can do.
100%. I mean, the whole Brabham family has to be proud of Matt Brabham and what he's doing with their legacy, and because he's doing it absolutely proud on and off the racetrack. The way he presents himself, the way he handles himself with the race fans, with teams, on the racetrack. He's a gentleman racer on top of it all, and that's what we've always known the Brabhams to be. Is they're gonna beat you and they're gonna hound you, but they're gonna race you like a gentleman.
Into the first corner, Brabham makes his move for second place.
On
Textbook
cue.
overtake.
Thank you, Matt. On cue, making me look good up here.
Well done. Nice pass.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job by Matthew Brabham, and you wouldn't expect nothing less. And now, my advice to Keith is, where Matthew's so good in these cars, right? Get a target on his back and learn, because that's what a guy like Keith Grant can do here. Is just kind of take a look at that. But Matt's going for it though. He's gonna take off.
Here's another look at it, boys. Talk motor racing to me. This is classic.
I mean, he's far back, too. I mean, he's going to go. And you're looking at Matthew Brabham, one of the late breakers, and it looks like the door was left open there from Keith right on entry. And Matthew's like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more brake pressure and get to the corner.
Yeah, he rolled the entry and just took the turn it away from him, and there was really nothing Grant could do. But he was smart enough just to realize he'd lost it, and now he can learn something.
You know, I got a question for you, Tommy. We had Matt up here in the booth yesterday, and I said, you know, you've raced so many different things. You're a single-seater, or you're known more for your single-seater exploits and your truck racing in the last few years. Why Trans Am? And he said, he just smiled. He said, because it's the fastest thing you can race. He said, there's not many things you can race at 175 miles an hour. We call you the Iron Man because you've got so many races under your belt. Is it the same for you?
I would say the dream of anybody who's driven anything would be to drive a TA car. They are by far the most exciting, very fast, high horsepower, high grip, high load. They do it all, and you still have to drive that car. There are no aids in that car. You have to make it happen. It's all on the driver. You got the wheel, you got the brake pedal, you got the throttle, and it's on you. Everything that happens out there is through those talents. The information.
Mike Cope or any of the team managers don't need to look at the data on the computer to know whether you've got what it takes to drive one of these things. You can't hide.
No, you cannot hide in these cars, and that's exactly what Matthew was up here smiling so big about yesterday, was the horsepower, right? Formula One is the only thing that's at the horsepower level of a TA car. You know, an Indy car is like 750 horsepower. Cup cars, you know, they have 500 horsepower packages, 700 horsepower packages. So they're not anywhere near this horsepower package anymore. So top level of motorsports, you're looking at Formula One and Trans Am.
Yeah,
if you want to have horsepower. So
you don't have. Yeah, hang on, Lewis Hamilton. But Lewis Hamilton has 45 people, 400 back at the thing, and a masseuse.
Exactly. and here you got the Davis versus Goliath, and you look at Billy Griffin here, as you see Kerry Hitt coming around. Billy is, you know, during qualifying, I believe, a practice, they took a part from another class of racing into an oil cooler, and they actually had to go to some Ford dealerships in the area. We're searching around Ford dealerships in the area to find this oil cooler so they could get back on the racetrack. So incredible stories. This is just one of the many stories inside the Trans Am paddock. Wouldn't you agree, Tom? On any given weekend of adversity, overcoming it, and finding everybody in the paddock, or somebody there to help you.
And isn't that racing? You plan for a time certain event. You want it to be perfect. You want it to go off flawlessly, but there isn't a driver or a team manager or a crew chief that can tell you they didn't have to overcome something to make it through the weekend. And it's just a testament to the spirit of anybody who wants to field a race car. You're committed and you're working hard 24/7, 365 days a year, and everybody just gets to see this glimpse of the show on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Really, really, really good way to put it. As we're creeping up on the halfway point of this race here, Jonathan Green.
Yep, Brabham now 9 seconds behind Dyson. Dyson's led from the get-go. Grant's still there in third place. He's now losing a little bit of time. And as we go down the list, we'll go through each and every one of the different categories. The Saunders battle still continues to go. Dreese and Ruman are still at it fixed, just behind them in 6th place. Hinkle in 7th. And here is your SGT leader. That's the number 42.
Yeah, and Matthew Brabham is laying it down. He has just put down a 45.2, which just made that the fastest lap of the race by 1.2 seconds. So, you know, it may not be lonely for the boss up there in P1 for too long, but this could turn out to be a lot of fun. But he is 9 seconds back, so he may need a little. Billy Griffin. We see Jeff Hinkle here as well. He's TA class in that Dodge. As we look at the 42 here, the 42 we have of Danny Lowry. He's an XGT in that Porsche. He's 15th overall, leading XGT.
Now Dyson now going past the Factory 5 car of Gluck.
That Factory 5 car, Brian Gluck, that's a really cool story too.
Yeah.
You know, they've taken, he explained it to me in a really good way where, like Porsche's philosophy has always been, let's build a race car and then we'll turn it into a street car. And that's where obviously a lot of their success comes from, and that's really what's been emulated by other manufacturers. Well, they took this Factory 5 GTM and they have made it a race car. It was a road car and a race car. Well, Brian's background is he's a pilot for our military, and I forget what branch, so excuse me on that. I apologize, Brian, but he flies, and he's also a test pilot. So when he would drive this thing and it was crabbing on him, you just corrected on a. So when they would look at the videos and they see his wheel turn, they're like, we're in a straight line, you're on a straightaway. The wheel's not supposed to be turned. Well, that's how I go straight.
Yeah,
so he's got so many fun stories of how. So they've really had to rebuild all the uprights, all the control arms, and everything to make that a race car. So every time they hit the track, it's kind of like a test session for them. And again, it speaks to just volumes to Trans Am and having that kind of variety and having that kind of open-mindedness to allow these packages to come in and get their racing done. And Brian is a heck of a character. I think we become fast friends, just over this weekend and meeting each other. And I'm really so fascinated by the project and what they do to move forward and what they are doing for veterans as well. And the message always seems to be strong when we get to Virginia with the veterans. So it's great to see Brian out here as we see a little replay. Come back through with the Factory 5 again. This is looking like Aaron Pierce and Chris Dyson, our overall leader, and leader in GT, are got a little bottled up there with Brian.
Yeah, tough spot there, but it looks like everybody made it through safe, and Chris did a great job getting through traffic, and so did Aaron. I mean, that could have been a moment there.
I misspoke earlier. Danny Lowry, of course, leading XGT, but the battle is still on between SGT with Lee Saunders leading it, but a good battle between Cary Grant and Aaron Pierce. They're 10th and 11th overall, but fighting for the podium in SGT. Just wanted to correct myself there because we saw Danny Lowry doing a good job in XGT, and I was mentioning Ken Thwaites, the first winner of the XGT Championship. And then Griffin down in 14th position overall in that GT class.
I believe we saw Kerry hit, unfortunately, as a retirement there. Oh, we got a big hit with Dyson. And
you know, and this could put Dyson out of this race because
that was with the 0-2, and that's with Larry Bailey, and that's a big hit. Yeah.
I don't want to say I've warned you so, but I said this is where the concentration is needed when you're going through cars that you've got a massive lead, but you're going past cars that are so much at a different pace than you, that you've got to have your wits about you. And sadly, it's caught the number 16 out. And poor old Chris Dyson, he was on to almost a walk in the park.
Well, absolutely. And that's all we ever ask of the slower traffic is just be predictable, right? Just drive your line, let the faster cars get around. And I don't believe that's what Chris found there. So let's look at the replay before we make any assumptions here.
Guys, you take it up.
So on board here, looks like Chris is getting through the S's. He's going to have the run. The braking at the top of the S's is not usually the thing, and you're not usually turning in that early. I honestly think that, we had a back marker trying to get out of the way, and Larry Bailey was trying to get out of the way and doing things that we're not expecting. And honestly, Tom, that we just want them to stay doing what they're doing, be predictable, and we'll make our way around.
Yeah, the Larry Bailey's car, he really didn't have enough energy to have to use all that part of the track. He really could have stayed driver's right and just kept it tidy. And I think that's what Chris saw, was that car was going at a pace that it should be able to stay driver's right, and he should just be able to make a real easy pass. The car just stepped out in front of Dyson, and gave him really nowhere to go up there. You really don't want to pull out at speed on the grass and try something to avoid out there, because you go for a long way out of the grass. There's no grip out there.
And you can tell that's the new baby, because Chris is out there. Chris is out there.
He doesn't want to bend that chassis.
Making sure and just patting it down. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We'll get you back. We'll get you massaged, and it'll be fine for Coda. But that's the last thing you want to happen out there with a brand new car. And so sorry to see that for you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm a bit shattered for the team. I watched that team yesterday rebuild Matty Bramham's car in. They were methodical. There was no hub. There was just people doing their job. Everybody had a role. They all executed, and that's just a shame for that team.
Yeah, they've had they again, talk about rough luck. We talked about earlier with Ken Twaits and his early departure and the struggle of a weekend. Well, we can say the same thing about CD Racing. They've definitely had it dealt to them, the highs and the lows. Sitting on pole with the new car and track record with Chris Dyson to the blow up that they had yesterday. Here's another replay. And I think you say it just perfect. Yeah, there's not enough energy in this car to use up all the road. But even then, you stay right? The normal line is to stay right because you're setting up for turn 10 there on the left-hander. And that's two things Chris was expecting. Not enough energy, like you said, to get out there. But plus, you wouldn't be coming out there anyway. There's no reason to go where Chris was at. So again, just, my best advice, if you're out there learning or if you're out there in multi-class racing, and I'm sure you'll echo this, Tom, is hold your line and just do what you're doing and try not to think that you got to get out of the way. Do what you're doing, and the faster cars will always make their way through.
Yeah, the best way for any young driver is you have to think, you have to be predictable, and the line, the preferred line, that's yours, and stay on that, and the overtaking car will pass.
Well, we're under caution here at VIR, listening to Tom Sheehan and, of course, Adam Andretti. We'll take a short break from VIR, and we'll be back to get the resumption of this in our TA action after this.
Speed, endurance, desire. For 160 years, Motul has helped engines and drivers go faster, further, and stronger. Tested in the heat of battle, driven with passion, with one aim: to give you superior powertrain protection and performance. Motul.
Welcome back to VIR. We're under caution again here. Beautiful day here at VIRginia International Raceway, deep in the heart of North Carolina and Virginia, just on the border, in fact. And we've got some news. Obviously, the leader, the championship-winning leader, Chris Dyson, out of proceedings. Let's find out the latest from the pit lane with Ben Sisson.
Yeah, I'm with Stevie Dix, lead mechanic with Dyson Racing. He's already a champion. You've got a brand new, that Ave Riley chassis. Super fast because he's already set the track record here in GT1 and in TA. But what's the driver saying here?
Well, it was just we were going up into the S's there, and we'd been behind a Corvette for a bit, and apparently Chris went to go by him. He didn't know he was there, it looked like to me when I was watching it on the replay. And it's just a shame. We had the Altwell CBD Ford up there, the new Ave Riley chassis. Beautiful car, handling beautifully, just learning the chassis, and picking up speed, gaining momentum with our seat time and all that kind of stuff. But these things happen in racing. It's a shame that it had to happen this afternoon. We had the series clinched, so it didn't kill us there. And then we'll put the thing back together, and we'll be on it again at COTA.
But Brabham's doing really well in the championship-winning car.
So Matthew Brabham has come this weekend to drive Chris's normal car, the number 20, and he's in first place right now. It was looking good there for us. We thought we'd had a 1-2, but, you know, stuff happens to you out there on the racetrack.
Now, I know Stevie Dix is a really good mechanic, but, man, you might have missed your calling at a funeral home. It's got to be so mournful, man. I just got to roast you a little bit.
Oh, I know.
You're always so sad on these things.
So sad when our cars do.
All right, gentlemen, back to you.
We cannot believe in the commentary booth that he would roast, as in Tom's words, the nicest man in the pit lane. How could he do that?
Well, Stevie's from Marin County, California, and there isn't a nicer, more gentle soul in this paddock.
Well, you can tell that in his voice.
He's affectionately known as Dixie. I mean, that whole team, you know, I mean, we all have known him as that, and you know, absolutely one of the most beautiful, mild-mannered souls, as you said, Tom, in this paddock. And, yeah, shame on you, Benson. No, I'm just teasing. No, it's all in good fun. Dixie's not that sensitive. I'm sure that they're having a good chuckle down there through it all. That's what's so fun about this paddock, you know, I mean, we sit there and there's so much camaraderie. I mean, Tom and I solved all the world's problems in about 3 hours, you know, waiting to even get in this place because we're just so excited to get inside VIR. So that was back on Wednesday. It feels like a year ago.
It does. It does feel like a long time that we've been down here at VIR. Boy, a little damage on the rear of that Porsche.
That's Cary Grant, I believe. Yeah, that's the number 6 Porsche of Cary Grant. So that's one of the Grant gang out there. You know, they're filling out the TA field. They got 4 of them inside there.
So we're under caution here, and there's been some drama, to say the least. Dyson trying out that new chassis. I've got a question for both of you. I mentioned that Dreesy is in Hollywood. Well, he's been teasing us like one of those trailers all season long, him and Paul Gentilozzi, saying that they're going to get a new chassis, a Gentilozzi chassis. Now, what do we know about that? How does it compare? Or do we know anything about it? They said they hope to bring it back for COTA.
They're really good poker players over there. Because have you ever seen them pull their cards off their chest? Their cards have been folded up so close to the chest. They've definitely teased us back and forth, and so yeah, we got Paul Fix running a strong P5 again back with us in the Stop Flex Ford Mustang, and so and then Lee Saunders in this number 44 Dodge Viper. He's in SGT and leading that, and he's in P8 overall.
Yep, let's take, we talked to Paul Fix. Let's head down to Ben in the pit lane, and he can give us the latest on the Fix situation.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. I'm here with Lauren Fix, the car coach, and also Paul Fix's boss. Just going to say that. We know Paul Fix is really fast here. I alluded it to in the grid walk. He won 3 years in a row here at VIR. What's your driver saying on the radio?
Oh, he says his car is fast. He loves running with Dyson Racing. He's going to get Amy. I know it. He had her a couple times dead to rights, but she closed the door on him, so keep your eyes on that, and then he's going to make his way up to Dreesy. So we could have 2 on a podium. It's not over with yet till the checker flag drops.
I love it. And you mentioned Amy Ruman because just a few years ago, the championship came down to the wire at Daytona between Paul Fix and Amy Ruman. She edged him out, so I'm sure there's no love lost there.
No, we're friends, but, you know, this is racing. When racing happens, there's no friendships. This is racing. We're serious.
Nice. And could you please media train Stevie Dix for us? Thanks. Back to you, gentlemen.
Oh, Ben, I tell you, you know, they say that racing drivers take risks. Ben's the biggest risk taker I know.
Oh yeah, no, he's counting on that black shirt blending him in somewhere because no, he's you know gonna have the whole paddock on the attack mode. But no, Lauren Fix, I know the Fix family for a long time, and yeah, it's great to see them back out here and. Great racing out there, and she's right. There's a lot of racing left, and there could still be, Dixie, I promise you, there still could be 2 CD racing cars on this podium after today.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Paul Fix has been in the car a couple times. He is quick. He's got a great history here at VIR, and I think he's kind of chomping at the bit here. I think he's been running a smart race, and now he's probably going to make his way up a spot or 2 before the end of this thing. That's my prediction.
So, could Matthew Brabham win a TA race here this afternoon? He's certainly odds on the way things are going, but there's plenty of action all the way through. Lee Saunders, I've just heard, has come into the pits, and that's not good news for it's good news for the SGT competition, but not good news for the Viper, this one, of Lee Saunders.
You know, a number of times here at VIR, the grass can be a factor, blocking off airflow to cool the car. And I'm sure. It looks like Boris Said's car might have popped a head gasket.
Okay.
And that can happen. You get a little grass on the grill. You're not getting air. You've been up on somebody's bumper to take scrubbing tires, taking a couple restarts, running around under caution, and you could lose airflow with some debris. And the heat comes quick. You get to the critical point, and all of a sudden you're in a lot of trouble. So maybe some of these cars are just coming in to check the grill, make sure their cars are okay, to send their guys back out to make sure they can finish this race.
I might be speculating here, but he had the wheel turned, and they were tucking in and looking at side of the suspension. I think in the left front, they might have found something tucked inside the suspension, maybe in the control arm. It looked possibly something. And that's another thing here at VIR. You have to attack the curb so hard that when you're in one of those GT cars and some of the suspension pieces could be a little fragile, you could tweak one of those rod ends and it could cause an alignment issue and just kind of put you out of the game, couldn't it?
And it's a precision game. Going up through the fast S's, you can definitely drop a wheel into some of those holes out there off the preferred area of attack, and you can really do some damage real quick up there.
Yeah, he had a broken rotor in the front, in the left front there. So, so speculation was half right, you know. But again, and a broken rotor could come down to heat.
Yes.
It could have got a blocked cooler for the brake, duct, and next thing you know, you overheat the rotor, and that steel can't handle that either.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see that he made it back to the pits, because a blown-up rotor can be a real problem real fast, and you can throw away a race car, hurt a driver. There's all sorts of horror stories of broken rotors, so I'm glad to see Lee made it back to the pits and his team can take care of the car, and it looks like he's safe.
Yeah, Lee Saunders has been a big part of our championship in SGT for many years. He loves the Dodge Viper and says he's not going to race anything else. A bit like Cindy Lux in that respect. They just love driving that big old front end engine car, and it gives them all the thrills they want. But sadly today it's not going to come to the fore. Chocron is going well. The man from Panama City is in 7th overall behind Hinkle. So we've got some good battles, and I'm also quietly looking at Tommy Dreesy, who's having a good day after having an approach to the weekend that wasn't spectacular in terms of time on track. So there's some good stories out there, and another great one in Matthew Brabham.
Yeah,
multiple stadium truck winner, championship winner, and single-seater hero, but now about to become a Trans Am hero as well.
Yeah, green again, and Dreesy makes no time to get around the GT car there of Cary Grant, I believe, and Amy might try to use that as a pick on this restart, but this is going to be a great race here at the front here on this restart. As Paul Fix is looking just to see if he can clean up the pieces and the scraps of what's going to come out of turn 2 here.
21 of 31 gone. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so it's really great to see this weekend a couple stories. Tommy Dreesy, he's getting more and more comfortable in that program. He looks pretty racy out there today. And to see Claudio Burton back in the paddock and fielding a car is always exciting. Claudio has fielded some fantastic TA entries over the years, and we're really looking forward to the things he's bringing back to the series.
So a really good battle here. Amy Ruman under pressure. Dreesy putting pressure on Grant, and meanwhile Brabham off to the races and pulling away at the front as he's done from the back of this race. Remember, he started at the very back because he didn't qualify the car.
Yeah, exactly, and just made his way right to the front too, as predicted. But yeah, Tommy Dreesy is going to fill up the mirror here of Keith Grant, and absolutely tons of great stories throughout the entire paddock. As you know, here with the two-time champ of Amy Ruman and Paul Fix gets a huge run out of Oak Tree there and down the straightaway. I believe that's going to be a tough one for Amy to defend going down here into turn number 14 and 14A.
Yeah, super critical. Super critical to get a good run off Oak Tree. And if you get held up on putting power down coming off the exit, it's a half a mile straightaway. You're going to pay the price. Very hard to defend, and a mistake. A rare mistake for Amy, but a mistake nonetheless, and it might have cost her that spot.
No, and he didn't get it, it didn't get done. No, she was able to hold on to it, and the all-Graham stock flex Ford Mustang is still behind that McNichols Chevrolet Corvette, making hard work of it as they come down the front straightaway. Let's see if they're going to get a run down into turn number 1. Will Paul Fix make it under the braking zone?
Well, that was a champion's move right there by Amy Ruman to fend off that pass after she got that looked like a bad run off of Oak Tree, but she is a competitor and she's fierce. And I always tell her she drives better when she's a little mad.
Yeah,
she's getting overtaken at NASCAR around the outside. And she did a great job of defending into turn 1 and on the exit of turn 1, but now she's lost out to Fix, and he has fixed the problem he had, which was Amy Ruman, because Paul Fix goes through, and that was a good little fight between them, and now Hinkle's joined the battle of the three-way battle. Meanwhile, Dreesy still all over Grant, can't get by him.
Well, it looks like Ruman's efforts really gave Dreesy a little breathing room to keep working on Grant. Looks like he's going to have Fix coming pretty soon, but he's going to have a little bit of a gap here that Fix will be forced to make up until he gets into the fray. So that gives Tommy Dreesy a really good chance to work real hard. I'm sure his crew's telling him, get it done now, work hard now before you have to race a guy behind you.
Meanwhile, Jeff Hinkle was just sitting back there, just chomping at the bit that those two are racing and bringing the fight right to him. So it brought that fight right to him. So now Amy, instead of just fighting with Fix, now has to fight also with the likes of Jeff Hinkle.
Lap 22 of 31, Brabham, Grant, and Dreesy. Guys, how much does the car change? Now we're getting into the sort of business end where the fuel load is going down. The tyres are probably feeling a little bit fed up with you fighting them all day long. Does the car change to the point where when you really need a good car, things are starting to not fall apart, but starting to wear?
I think you're always under a balance, and the balance right now is probably not in the driver's favor.
Yeah.
The fuel load under those caution laps doesn't burn off.
Okay.
So they're going to be still carrying a little bit more fuel than you would have calculated if this thing had gone green. So the tire degradation also isn't as bad.
Right.
So we have a little better tire. We have a little bit more weight. So it's I don't think the cars will get to the point that the weight loss and the tire degradation will be that hard on the whole lap time. I think these guys should be able to put down pretty consistent laps until down to the last 3 or 4 laps, and then we'll see who saved their stuff the best.
You know, that's a good explanation, because that explains why you can see that Tommy's getting kind of racy as we were on board with him to try and get past Grant, and it looks as though Grant's got enough underneath him to defend that. So we've got a good end to this, and I think that explanation, as you say, that caution or the cautions we've had have left these cars in a better position than normally we would see with less than 10 laps to go.
Well, and if I'm Tommy Dreesy too, I'm going to keep applying this pressure, because I've also seen a lot of wiggles under throttle of that 5 car in front of me.
That's the game.
Of Keith Grant. So and it doesn't seem like Tommy's struggling with forward bite issues at all, and it seems like Keith is having a little bit of that. When he tries to really pick up the throttle and really get down into that 900 horsepower, it wants to buzz those rear tires. So if I was on the horn with Keith, I would go ahead and let him know, just to keep those rear tires underneath you. This is not a hard track to defend. You've got only a few places that you have to defend, so don't abuse the tire everywhere, and I believe that would be probably the best thing. But this is a great battle that is going on between Keith Grant and Tommy Dreesy. And remember, I know in Tommy Dreesy, in the back of his head, maybe not, because it is Tommy Dreesy. I was going to say he's thinking points, but we know better than that. This is Tommy Dreesy.
Yeah, he's thinking
his hair's on fire.
Win or win it. There's only two gears.
Yeah, right.
Tommy Dreesy, he's thinking about the bumper in front of him and how he's going to get by it, and then he'll work on the next one.
As Kev Thwaite said at the beginning, see it and pass it.
Yeah, Tommy's a fierce competitor, and for Grant, that mistake of buzzing the rear tire, that can exacerbate into a real ill-handling race car. You can really blow that tire up. You can really get it too hot.
Yeah, especially I've that's one of the things I've definitely learned in our time on the Pirelli tire. It's a very temperature-sensitive tire, and if you spike that temperature, you lose a lot of its performance. And that's not really what you want to be doing at this stage of the race, especially when you're hunted down by somebody that's the hunter that is a Tommy Dreesy. So, but Keith has got his stuff together. He felt those slips, Tom. He straightened that out, and he's got himself down, and he has not put a wheel wrong since then. So I think he figured that out, like you said, to your observation. He got those rear tires cooled down, those rear Pirellis cooled down, and he's now gapping this number 8 Lucas Ford Mustang, MAV TV Ford Mustang of Tommy Dreesy.
Yeah, seeing a car fill your mirrors, one of two things happens. You can fall apart or you can just get better. And it looks like Grant's done a great job of just getting tidy and keeping the car underneath him. And it looks like he's really performing well. And that can be disheartening. It's called learned helplessness if you're the guy behind that guy.
I like that.
when you get to the guy and then you think you got something for him, and all of a sudden he just drives off on you, it can really it can do something to your head and take a little drive forward. But that is Tommy Dreese, and I don't think that happens to him.
Across the line they come again, and time running out. 24. Ooh, what's happened to Amy?
Yeah, Amy got around, got spun around there. Don't know what if there was any help there, but see if there maybe is a replay that we can grab a hold of. Look out for Jose. There it comes around the corner there, gets through. Jose Chacron, he's doing a great job, like you said earlier. I mean, he's sitting there right there in P7. As you brought up, Burton Racing and their return to the Trans Am paddock, it's great to see them back, and Claudio Burton's presence is always welcome and fun to have around. And I love exchanging stories with that man. He's got some good fun ones.
Very fun man, very interesting man, very committed to racing, and it's nice to see that program having a great day, bringing a car to the racetrack, and their drivers performing. He's not making mistakes, and right now he looks like he's going to have himself a pretty good day.
So it's a family affair in SGT as Carey and Milton go head-to-head. Billy Griffin leading in GT, and in XGT, Danny Lowry, 11th overall and leading in XGT at the moment. But of course, leading the race, Matthew Bradman. I was trying to think when he last won, but of course, he won at Austin last time out at COTA, this time last year, when he came in as a one-off with Chris Dyson and absolutely blitzed the field.
So Dreese's got smoke in the cockpit here.
We saw a little bit of smoke.
So he's broken. He's actually going to pull off. I thought he would have pulled off there, but he's under power. We can still see the revs up on the dashboard there. Jeff Hinkle goes by, as does Paul Fix.
Yeah, look at the back of the car.
And yeah, that definitely.
That could be rear end. That could explain how his charge was ended. If that rear end started to go bad, he lost a ring and pinion, or started to get that gear oil too hot, and things weren't working right.
If it wasn't for bad luck, Tommy wouldn't have any. Not an easy day again at the office for Tommy Dreese. It's been hard all weekend. They had some power steering issues at one point. They didn't go out on Friday. They had bodywork rebuilds as well, and now it looks like, potentially a terminal problem again for this car.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Racing is such a
bittersweet,
a heartfelt effort, and when things don't go your way this close to the end, it's frustrating. But Tommy will be back. That team will be back. Gentilozzi Racing, and they'll rebuild. They'll get the car fixed, and I'm sure we'll see him again.
Good news is he's not dropping anything of any substance except a little bit of smoke out of the back. So it's not like he's dumping oil on the track, but he's coming in straight away, and I'm sure Ben will be on the case. But sadly, a massive attrition rate in our Franklin Road TA race here from VIR, the penultimate round of the championship. We head to COTA next at the beginning of November to round it all out.
And don't look now, but look what just fell into the two-time champ, Amy Ruman's lap for points today. I mean, we're looking here with 5 laps to go. Hopefully things keep going well for that McNichols Ruman Racing Chevrolet Corvette. But this right here, again, this is part of the game, as you said, Tom Sheehan, is that this is the cruelty of our sport. But even in the cruel days, we still love what we do, and we get to come back and live out our dreams. And so, like you said so well, as Tommy Dreese will be back. That team, 3GT, will be back as strong as ever. As we look at Kerry Grant, one of the remaining Grants out here, he's doing a great job there.
Well, he's leading in SGT now.
Yeah, he's leading SGT for the SGT championship leaders in second, Milton Grant. So, the Grant family is looking to have a good day, where at the beginning of the day, Jonathan Green, it honestly wasn't looking like that for him. This number 6 Porsche took some damage on the back of it that we still see to this moment. And also, Richard Grant's day was gone very early in that accident. But Keith Grant carrying the flag up there in P2 overall in NTA. And then you got Kerry Grant leading in SGT, and Milton Grant looking to bring home that championship in P2.
I see Jeff Hinkle's recovered from the early incident, and he's moved himself to a podium spot. Looks like he's got Paul Fix. The gap isn't that big, so those two are going to be racing hammer and tong to the end. But great job by that team to get that car to recover from that incident and drive your way back up to third.
Well, let's go down to the pit lane once again with Ben and get the latest of what happened to Tommy Dreese.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. I'm here with the 3GT Racing. One thing you can see just clearly, just after a long race, you can see a lot of smoking, but that's pretty normal. The one thing that we've noticed here, as you can see, you can really smell the rear end, the differential fluid, and he came in with a trail behind him. As soon as he did, the head mechanic just gave the cut sign, said the rear end is leaking, and unfortunately it's over for Tommy Dreese. Hard-fought battles for 3GT Racing. I don't know what that does for the championships. Gentlemen, back to you.
Yeah, a real shame. And Tommy's such a great competitor and a stalwart, a former champion, of course. And it's all ended up as the runner-up hopeful with a bit of bad news for him. And it looks as though Amy Ruman's going to pick up some good news there. So 28 of the 31 gone, massive attrition rate. And boys, as we come down to the closing stages of this, it's had everything, hasn't it?
This has been a survivor's race for sure.
Yes.
The guys that have kept their cars clean and just put their laps down, managed traffic well, they're gonna have a good day. And you know, in racing, it's not always what you want to see is the front runners knocked out, but the guys that have been running, working hard, trying to make something for their season. Sometimes this is a big lift for a team to get a result and give you some energy, give you some positive feelings going into the closing race of the season coming up at COTA, and certainly to build on for next year. So for all these teams that are the benefactors of some others' misfortune, this part of racing, it's a big lift.
Another great story that's gone quietly about his business is Jose Cochran of Panama City, because on Friday I spoke to him and he said, you know, I had power steering failure and the car couldn't go out. They got it fixed. He wasn't very hopeful of getting much of a result out of this weekend, and he's currently running 5th.
Yeah, great result. I mean, there's 5th place in any series at this high a level is something that you got to be pretty proud of. Of course, I am really pleased for everybody who's going to be 1, 2, 3 on this deal, and my hats are off to the front 3 cars. I think have done a phenomenal job of just managing the race. Hinkle with the problems in the early part of the race, Brabham starting from the rear, and then we have our steady Grant that started second. He's still running second. He's putting the laps down. He's fended off a few charges. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't echo that enough. Yeah, Grant starting P3, you know, right now running in P2 is absolutely being very formidable. Tommy making sure that they're talking him down from all that business that he just went through there. But great battles out there. Like you said, Jeff Hinkle staring down that podium, but he can't run away and hide. You know, he's got Paul Fix just a 1/10 of a second behind him. As you can see, this battle between the two right here as we come down here into turn number 1. Jeff Hinkle making that dodge, which is already nice and wide, even wider through 1 and 2 here as we get to run into 3. But this is the best battle I think we got going on the racetrack right now, gentlemen.
Oh, Adam, I think you're right. Adam, I think these two probably have a lot of laps down here at VIR, and I think that this is going to go right down to the wire. I don't know when Paul's going to make his move. Paul's pretty patient. I think he'll take a couple challenges before this thing's over.
Can't be too patient. We're working 29 to 31, so you know, it's kind of go-go time, especially here at VIRginia International Raceway, because you just don't have the opportunities. So you need to, you know, honestly, I'm sure what Paul Fix is doing right now is what we would all do, is try and push Jeff Hinkle into some sort of mistake. But right now, Jeff Hinkle's holding that pretty wheel and making sure that he's not making any mistakes as they make a good charge down here into Oak Tree.
The car looks great. He took a bit of a defensive line there, and Paul has just got to work on exit, and try to make a showing of showing his nose a couple times. Like you said, Adam, see if we can get Hinkle to make a wiggle.
Yeah, and he's trying to get in the draft a little bit. He didn't get the best of exits out of the Franklin Road Apparel turn 11, but it's such a half-mile long straight, as you say, with that kink just there. And look how much he's caught up as they go into the braking point, going into the roller coaster.
And if you're wondering what's going on at the front, not much. Matthew Brabham right here is pretty much just taking off, run away and head. He's 9 seconds up on Keith Grant. You know, Matthew Brabham, world-class talent, and it wouldn't surprise to see him back in an IndyCar at some point here soon in his career. Oh, Jeff Hinkle. We just got off of this, and Jeff Hinkle's in the fence here. That looks like onto the front straightaway, Tom.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
right, pit entry.
Boy, that does. And that looked like a a bad end to a day. It looked like a real hard turn back in there. Hopefully Hinkle can get that thing going and salvage his day. I don't know if we can get a report on the damage, but it looks like it might have
Here's
ended
what
the day.
happened, guys. Let's have a
see
look.
what we get a replay here. As we're taking a look as they're coming through the hog pens, going through lap traffic with Billy Griffin here. Let's see if that played any kind of role. And no, he just gets a little bit of maybe some. I can't see from that angle, so I don't want to speculate. But yeah, that was some tight racing there, so there might have been a little bit of a nudge in the back.
It looked like a little checkup with some lap traffic.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Billy Griffin didn't get the acceleration
handcuffed.
he wanted.
Oh yeah, that was a racing incident 100%. Like Paul Fix did not see the accordion effect happening.
No, it looks like Hinkle had to check up the lap traffic. Of course, the car is trying to do its best to stay driver's right, but it's going to track off to the left a little bit just because of the topography, the elevation change, and the camber, the loss of it there at the bottom of the hill. Just a shame for that team.
That really is. That was one of those racing deals. And ladies and gentlemen, race fans at home, I can't stress enough, when you're behind the wheel of these things, your vision is so limited. So to see around the car, there's no chance. There's no chance that Paul Fix saw, maybe even that Billy Griffin checked up or any of those things. But then it always comes down to what we talked about before. As traffic is try and stay in your line, and just by staying in your line, we should be, the faster car should be able. And that's the tricks to multi-class racing. We see it in all types of sports car racing, right, Jonathan Green?
Oh, absolutely. And we're on the final lap now of what has been an interesting 100 miles. Some good, some bad, but for the man at the back at the beginning of this race, he's come right to the very front. What can this man do? He's won at Bathurst, he's won Pro Mazda for Andretti Autosport, he's won, he's won another single-seaters in the year before that, and he was third in the Indy Lights Championship this year for Andretti Autosport. He won in Trans Am at Cota last year, representing this very team, and now he's going to do it here at VIR. What can't this man do? I bet he's not got that many laps around here.
I think this is 4 TA starts and 3 wins. He won Mid-Ohio this year, so this 4 starts I think are Mid-Ohio, Lime Rock, Cota last year, and VIR. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is his record. He is 3 out of 4. And if you want to go ahead and say, he hasn't finished worse than second. So we're looking at a man that is an absolute dominant force behind the wheel. He should grab the attention of all of motorsports because this is a man that you should have representing you, your company, your race team, because on and off the racetrack, he performs.
Yeah, no question about it. He's an absolute gentleman and represents the Brabhams in the most perfect way, and has done it in style here at VIR, takes the checkered flag and wins in style from back to front.
Well, great job. Great job.
No question about it. Crossing the line in second is Keith Grant, and that's a really good performance in his first outing out in TA. Paul Fix takes third place ahead of Jeff Hinkle, who ended up in the wall, sadly. Amy Ruman will be fifth. Chocron in sixth place. Cary Grant takes seventh, holding off Milton Grant in eighth. Danny Lowry wins in XGT, and Billy Griffin wins in GT. But what a race. And, it had everything. Our thanks to Tommy Sheehan and Adam Andretti. Now Griffin's parked up as well.
Bummer. Yeah,
that's too bad. That's too bad. Griffin, he runs well. I'm sure he knew those guys were both there. If he was having some kind of issue and he was a little bit off his normal pace, that might have caught Hinkle out as he came down that last corner.
Yeah, I mean, just again, a double podium too for CD Racing. So,
yeah, Chris won't be
Dixie
as happy.
got it. Dixie got his double podium.
But Dixie did get his double podium, and sometimes a bad day turns into a great day. That's racing. Things turn around pretty quick. Yeah. Great day for CD Racing to have 2 cars up on the podium.
Yeah.
Matty Brambham, outstanding performance. What an incredible talent. Chris has told me his incredible talents. I've watched his incredible talents. CD Racing really believes in his ability. And those guys, they put on a clinic today. They did a great job.
Keith Grant, awesome job mixing it up. Coming from IMSA LMP3, totally different really cars. I mean, those are rear engine prototypes, lots and lots of downforce, late braking, moderate horsepower. This sucker is nothing but horsepower, stab and go, point and shoot kind of car, totally different driving style. My hat's off to Keith Grant. What an awesome job. Come back, play in our sandbox some more. I encourage you to, my friend, please, I implore you.
Yeah, really impressed. Watched him in qualifying. He did a great job in the race, and that's impressive. First time to race a TA car, to put it on the podium, to qualify so well with this competitive field is pretty impressive. So great job. I think he's the star of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, and I've got another good story for you. Jose Chocron, after that performance here, will go ahead of Kaz Grala. Obviously not racing this weekend, but Kaz has had a good season. They were both level on 58 points after Watkins Glen, and that means he'll now take the lead of the rookie standings in TA. So good luck. Well done to him.
No, that is fantastic. That's great to see. Matthew's girlfriend Kimberly is here with them, so this will be a nice, special, very special, victory lane here, and they're just going to have a great celebration after this race. Because, like I said, yesterday was so kind of bummer for them, as we alluded to. They blew the engine in yesterday morning's practice, as we saw at the beginning of the race. Literally had worked until late in the night. And this thing goes to victory. No better reward for that effort than when this thing gets to pull in and celebrate with the champagne.
Yep, and Milton Grant will extend his lead both in the Masters and in the SGT Overall Drivers' Championship, but beaten by Carey today in that damaged Porsche, who's third overall. He'll now move to second, so the Grant's right up there with Cindy Lux not taking part, so well done to them. But the day belongs to this man, and the Brabham name continues in motorsport. The Australian-American, as they describe him, 3 times a winner in stadium trucks, and now a 3-time winner in Trans Am.
Just unplug it. You could tell you don't drive the cars a lot when they're telling you what you need to do to get out, what you have to unplug. But look at him, such a humble man too. He's almost uncomfortable with the people being happy with his performance, but that's what you love about the man. Dixie gives a big hug and an embrace, and no bigger fans of a race driver than those that turn the wrenches, and like that guy right there, Chris Dyson, the name of CD Racing. So congratulations, Matty Brabham. Great drive, as always, buddy.
As soon as he gets that helmet off, I'm sure that Ben will be with him. And off comes the balaclava and the big smile and the wavy hair. Let's hear from Matthew Brabham, our winner here at Virginia International Raceway.
Matty, you got to call the dog over here.
Well, here I am with Matthew Brabham getting a greeting from his dog, it looks like. Maybe, Matt, can you introduce us to your dog first?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's Brumby. He loves to be on the podium, so, yeah, today was a great day.
Well, Chris Dyson, I know it was a rough day for you. Take the mic and interview your driver for me.
Oh, boy.
Well,
not singing this
well,
time.
Matthew, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
How was it out there?
Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, it was just survival. I mean, I saw all the smoke at the top of the hill from you, and I was like, oh no, what's happened here? So I was pretty aggressive in the beginning, and in hindsight, I probably should have been a bit more relaxed and just tried to survive, because the traffic was just the big player today.
Yeah, so what happened there with a couple laps to go? We saw dust, and then we disappeared for a little bit, and then you reappeared.
Yeah, that was just a silly mistake on my part. I mean, it's hard to pass sometimes because some of these cars are faster down the straight but slower in the corners, and this one was faster in the corners and slower down the straight. And I thought, I'll just outbrake him into the inside, and that would be the cleanest pass I can make. And he broke way later than my brake spot, and I was kind of just more so looking at his car. And once I broke, I was like, oh man, I'm way too late. I'm going to miss the corner. So I just missed the corner, went in the grass. But that was just a mistake on my part. He did nothing wrong. He was on the racing line, and he was clean. But yeah, I just overcooked it because he can brake later than I could, and I found that out pretty quick.
Well, congratulations, Matt. You did a terrific job all weekend. Another win for the team. back to you in the booth.
Actually, not back to you in the booth. I love it, though. Dyson, you got a job with us here. But the championship-winning car, another win for the championship-winning car, unfortunately for you, because you went off. What happened there?
Well, I mean, obviously we're thrilled to have another all-wall car here in Victory Lane. You know, another win for the team. You know, I think it underlines the performance we've got. That you know, both of our cars finished first and third. You know, Paul Fix did a brilliant job in the all-gram car. You know, for me, just honestly, I don't want to get too much into it. I'm frustrated. I think we had a race-winning car today. You know, the Riley Technologies came to us with a brilliant automobile, and we were in command. And unfortunately, we just got involved with some traffic that wasn't really paying attention.
Nice. I love the honesty here from Dyson Racing, both Matthew Brabham and Chris Dyson. But before we go, I would like to come over and talk to Kerry Grant. Where is Kerry Grant? Okay, hold on. We got to find Kerry Grant, because Kerry Grant, I got to interrupt, man. Nice job. Congratulations. Thanks. That's the first time I remember you being on the top step in SGT. Is that right?
Yep, first time. That's the first win in Trans Am. It's been a while since I've won one, because it's been a while since the SCCA Majors days, and just a great race. A lot of attrition out there. Crazy start. You can see I got the back of my bumper pretty good on the race car, and just a blast out there. Didn't hurt the car, though. So a lot of attrition out there. I ran and chased down second right before he came in or had a problem, and then I don't know what happened to the Viper, but I was about to chase him down and give him a good fight too.
Jump in here, Pops. You're usually getting the top step over Kerry. Get closer. How does it feel now? The student has become the master.
It does, and we did this here last year too. I won one race and he won the other one last year, and so it's great. This track's really good for our car, and we love racing here. So this Mid-Ohio was it Mid-Ohio? Anyway, somewhere I got my very first win this year, and he got his very first win this year, and we're 1 and 2 in the series, so we're tickled to death. So.
And then is this your nephew that got second in TA? How cool is that? The Grant family representing. Kerry says hi to his family at home. Well, gentlemen, I've got to send it back up to you in the booth.
Great stuff, boys. And yep, the family Grant's doing a heck of a job today. They are getting some accolades, and well done to Kerry. And he deserves that water. I'm sure it might turn into wine later on. And that would be a miracle. Let's take a look at the highlights.
That was a wild start.
Been a big good day for TA, and we got off to an interesting start with Boris Said in second place, but right from the get-go, Ken Thwaites coming together with Hinkle, who managed to keep going. Sadly, Thwaites not happy with his. One of the Grants going out early. This was Richard in the 30. But Brabham coming from the back. He didn't qualify, but boy, he didn't need to. What a race he put on. Tommy Dreesy was going well, overtaken quickly by Brabham as he made his way to the front, and could have been a second-place runner. Gets past Keith Grant there to go into second place, but Dyson coming together with Bailey, and sadly both men going out, and that put Brabham in the hot seat and in the lead of the race. Meanwhile, there was plenty going on as well, because Dreesy sadly came to a slow stop, but the checker flag ran out for Matthew Brabham. It doesn't matter whether it's Indy Lights or Trans Am, he's a winner. Let's take a look at some of the highlights then of our other classes. And of course we had XGT, SGT and GT in action today. And away they went again. So they're looking at the midfield, and it's a race of their own and a race of attrition. Carrie Pierce in the 26th. Doing a good job early on. Aaron Pierce, doing a good job early on. Lee Saunders looked odds on to win, as he always does in SGT whenever he competes, the man from Florida. And Billy Griffin out on his own in GT, the former champion, going well early on, but got in a bit of fisticuffs at the end. Lowry going well in XGT. And as the leaders went past the Factory 5 car, sadly Bailey parking it up. That put him out of the action. Amy Room was in the thick of it, so too Saunders, but sadly he pulled in with a rotor problem. But Cary Grant went on to take his first victory in SGT. Congratulations to him. So, confirmation of the results then. Matthew Brabham with that win for the All-Gram team, and Keith Grant in the Showtime Motorsports team second, and Paul Fix in third for the All-Gram Stopflex Com Classic Tube car. Amy Ruman in 4th, Jeff Hinkle 5th. Chocron in 6th place, the Panamanian getting that team up there into the top 6. An excellent result for him and probably his best as he takes the lead of the rookies. Cary Grant wins for the Grant team and his first win in the category in SGT ahead of the older Milton Grant in 8th and Danny Lowry winning in XGT. Billy Griffin winning in GT, and that rounded out the top 10. A little further down, Tommy Dreesy problems. Likewise, Gluck, Saunders out, Pierce, Dyson hit, Bailey, Pintaric, Said, and Ken Twaits, all with problems. Massive attrition rate in what was a very dramatic VIR race. Derek Cope, I don't think took the start actually, and Richard Grant also going out early on. So that concludes our Trans Am coverage from VIR. And don't forget, we've always got our chill out move of the race. And this weekend, it has to be given to Cary Grant because, well, he deserves it. He put on a great show. He was in the wars too. The car damaged from the rear. But our chill out systems, chill out, keep cool move of the race is Cary Grant, putting on a show in the number 6 Porsche. He's worked really hard at this. And you can see the emotion from the man from Tennessee afterwards. And, yep, the whole family races, and it's great to see that they finally got the accolades they deserve. And he had to work it, too, with that damaged car. You never know with a damaged car just how bad things are going to be or if they'll get worse. But he took the checkered flag and takes his first win in SGT. And he, therefore, wins our Chill Out Systems Chill Out, Keep Cool move of the race. All right, as the action continues and, well, starts to calm down a little bit after what was a very interesting TA race, we'll take a short break from VIR. We'll be right back to wrap it all up after this.
This is my house. My parents helped build it. Now we don't get wet when it rains. I don't get too hot or too cold inside. I can play with my sister, I can play with my brother, I can play with my mother, my father, my family. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house.
This is my house.
Visit Habitat.org to find out how you can help more families like mine.
My name is Monse, and I am a senior at Cristo Rey. We bring high school students and corporations together to transform education. I work 1 day a week at Ryan Companies. There are Cristo Rey schools serving students across the country. Visit CristoRayNetwork.org and learn how you can become a corporate partner today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get loud. The Mission Foods VIR SpeedTour, TA, XGT, SGT, and GT. Come on, we can get louder than that. All right, here we go. Left-handed, who wants a hat? Ooh, a boomer, nice catch. Whoa, that might be the best catch of the season right there. We're gonna start in GT. You guys have got to get loud when I bring up first in GT. Let's hear it. Billy Griffin, all the way from Southern Florida. Come on now. Billy is going to throw out a C-Force koozie, sticker, and T-shirt. Billy, let's see what kind of arm you got on you. Oh. Not that impressive, Billy. You did it underhand, you know. Oh, okay, good. So tell us about your race out there.
It was good. It was obviously a war of attrition out there, right? I don't know how many people actually finished the race. I ran out of fuel in the last lap. And my right front caliper was leaking brake fluid pretty bad, so it started to get a little scary for me as well. Obviously, I'm out there by myself. That's why I'm standing here by myself. But
oh, I'm not here?
You're here, but thank God. Anyways, I had a lot of fun. I really love this place. It's beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody.
And I noticed that you're a little bit out of breath, and I heard a rumor from Jeff Lindstrom you might be doing the Enduro later on today, too?
The other car broke, too. We're done.
You're done? Oh, nice. Well, let's hear it for Billy Griffin. I love these honest interviews here in GT. Nice. And then we're going to do the hat dance, Billy. Billy, I love these Mustangs, and I heard a rumor you might be getting a new one for next year.
That's the one.
The one that Jeff was testing out? Wow, it's a pretty machine. I love it.
Build cars for friends, you know what I mean?
Let's hear it one more time. Billy Griffin, GT, Virginia International Raceway at the Mission Foods VIR SpeedTour. Thanks, Billy. Billy Griffin. You were close. Billy Graham is from near here, though, North Carolina. But if he were up on the podium, it'd be an absolute miracle. SGT. So in third place in SGT, here he is. I was wondering if he was going to be here. Let's hear it. Brian Gluck, or as I call him, G-Luck. Nice. See, he's excited. All right, Brian. See, you know where you're going. Nice. See, look at that. I love it. You're on the podium, dude. Congrats. He says 3 years. Now, this is going to be fun. In second place in SGT, and you're going to hear this last name a lot, but let's hear it. Milton Grant, ladies and gentlemen. This man has been in Trans Am for as long as I have, which is quite a long time. First place he's ever won in SGT. First time he's ever won first place in SGT. So let's hear it. Milton's son, Cary Grant, ladies and gentlemen. Memphis, Tennessee. Now see, I love it when people get excited to be on the podium because this, I know this really means something to you, Brian. Tell us about your race.
It was great. The wing broke, and so everywhere we were going, the wing was flapping like an airplane. And it was a little unstable.
He is an airplane pilot.
It was a little unstable on the high speed, but we raced with professionals. They got around us, and we're just excited to be here. I want to thank Scoville Vodka and the Gallon Few that supports U.S. Army Rangers and Factory 5 and everybody here in Trans Am. We're just excited to be here.
So you're not able to trim out the wings on a race car, are you?
Unfortunately not. I was looking for the yoke to try to adjust the trim, but it wasn't working very well.
Nice. Well, let's hear it. Brian Gluck, third place. Milton Grant, I don't know if this is a comfortable position for you or not, but I haven't seen you on a step below your son in SGT.
It's happened before, and I'm glad to see where he is, you know. Of course, I did get turned around and sat on the side of the road for quite a while getting the car started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
Yeah, and this mess down here in the corner, I was just lucky I didn't get caught in it, you know. So I was tickled to death once it finally restarted, and I was tickled to death when the yellow came out so I could get up closer to him. So it was a great race. Really enjoyed it.
Nice. I love it. Well, Cary Grant, I can't reach you, buddy, so you're going to have to hold both mics for me if you don't mind.
Thanks. I really enjoyed today. I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and my crew, Larry, Mike, and Kevin, my brother. Beautiful day, a lot better than Watkins Glen. It was a really crazy start. I got hit pretty hard from behind in the first lap, but we were having an argument whether or not to come in and try and rip my bumper cover off during that first caution, and I won the argument because I was driving. But it was great, set a pace, ended up passing the Corvette and got up to second. Then I don't know what happened to the Viper, but great day. Thank you for Trans Am, all the hard work y'all do.
I love it. All right, Cary, let's see what kind of arm you've got there. Oh, man, it's not poison, people. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Gluck, Milton Grant, Cary Grant, hold those trophies up. I like this crowd here at VIR. Thank you, guys. Beautiful weather. Thank you. I like being heckled, too. It's good. Keep it up. All right, VIR, Mission Foods, VIR SpeedTour. Let's hear how loud you can get. One more time, SGT, Brian Gluck, Milton Grant, Cary Grant, putting on a fantastic show here. All right, let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, look out. A little shower here, but look at this. Gentlemen, not going for the eyes. Cary's saying, not the eyes, not the eyes. Hey, G-Luck, nice job, dude. That's awesome.
That is awesome, brother.
Congratulations.
Woo!
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I know that's hard fought. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming out. Nice job. Extreme GT. Let me explain something about this guy. He broke, unfortunately, at Watkins Glen, drove all the way to Maryland to get parts for his Audi. He brought that Audi here. I think it broke yesterday. I don't know where he had to drive to get his new Porsche to come racing with Bridgehall. He is a logistics manager. He does that for a living. But first in Extreme GT, let's hear it. Danny Lowry with the Bridgehall Porsche. So Danny, first of all, where did you have to go to get the other car?
I had to drive to South Carolina. So I drove home, got there 1 o'clock, got about 3 hours sleep, loaded the car and headed back.
3 hours sleep, loaded the car, headed back, and now you're on the top step. Tell us about your race.
That was a good race. I was in a car that I had not made any laps on. My goal was really in knowing that a lot of guys are racing for points. I didn't want to impact anyone else's race, so I was trying to ride around, stay out of trouble, keep clean, give everyone a lot of room. And I had a lot of fun following Billy Griffin around for a while, trying to learn from him a little bit.
Is that the car you had at Charlotte?
That is the car that I ran earlier this year. It's a great car. It's a lot faster than I was today, I can tell you that.
You want to thank anybody?
Hey, yeah, I want to thank Ricky Sanders Racing and Rookie and my company, Bridgehall, Bennett, and all the Bennett family of companies, and Tyler Hoffman here helping me today. Appreciate it.
I love it. And better weather than Watkins Glen. So let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Lowry, first in Extreme GT. Danny, hold that trophy up. There we go. VIR, I love this enthusiasm. Keep it up. Very good. We love coming here. Actually, Trans Am came here in 1966, the year of its founding. So we've been here a long time. Let's hear it one more time. Danny Lowry, Bridgehall, in the Porsche, first in Extreme GT. Also trying not to get in anybody's way of championship. We appreciate that, Danny. Thanks for all your hustle the last 2 races. Someday, Danny, it's all going to work out. Maybe that's why you're a logistics manager. All right, one thing I do need to clear up, because I need to say that all of these results are provisional in all the classes until we review everything. But I need everybody to get enthusiastic, because these are the 900 horsepower behemoth monsters in TA, the coolest class in motorsports. Very loose rules package, so they can kind of build these however they want. And as you saw, they are absolute beasts. Third place in TA, he has won 3 times in a row here at VIR. Welcome back to Paul Fix. Let's hear it, Paul Fix, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, welcome back. I love seeing you back on the podium here. In second place, his first time in a while in TA and in Trans Am. So happy to have Keith Grant from Memphis, Tennessee. We've got another Grant up here. 4 Grants total in this race. And then in first place, this guy is fast in everything. In the championship winning car, because Chris Dyson was in a new chassis after sealing the championship. Let's hear it. Matthew Brabham, first place, TA. Matthew, how many TA races have you run? How many TA races have you run? He's run 4 races. He's won 3. Coda, Mid-Ohio, and here, right? That's unbelievable. Who wouldn't want to have that kind of a record? Paul Fix, welcome back to Trans Am. So cool to have you back on the podium. You won here 3 years in a row. How's it feel to be back at VIR?
Yeah, VIR is one of my home tracks. I love being here. Raced here for 22 years, and you know, a lot of championships here. And you know, thanks to Chris Dyson. You know, he put me in this car last minute on Monday and said, "Come on down, let's race." And I said, "I'm here, and we're going to put it on the podium." And we did. The guys did an awesome job. They prepared a great car for me, and I just piloted it.
Nice. And a hard-fought podium.
Yep. It was a tough race. A lot of traffic, but and the track got slippery, and but we made it through. That's what counts.
Well, congratulations, Paul Fix, ladies and gentlemen. From Tennessee, wearing Tennessee Volunteer orange, Keith, welcome back. How's it feel?
Oh, it's great. I really appreciate the opportunity to race this weekend, and I had a great car all weekend.
You want to thank anybody?
Yeah, I got to thank my wife and my family for the support this weekend. Got to thank Showtime Motorsports. The guys working on the car this weekend had a great car. No problems all weekend.
Nice. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Grant. Keith, we hope to see you a lot more in the series. Matthew, I hate to do this, but can you hold both microphones?
Yeah.
And you want to bring your dog
Yeah, sure.
up here?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
What's your dog's name?
Brumby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brumby. Let's see. Oh, he's shy now. She, he? What, boy or girl?
He's a boy.
All right, Matthew, introduce us to your dog and take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, no, big thank you, obviously, to my dog. He was a great support all weekend. My girlfriend, Kim, she was great support. But obviously, number one is Chris Dyson and the Dyson race team. I mean, they had a busy weekend this weekend. I mean, we had some splitters break and some mechanicals yesterday, and they were working most of the nights to get these cars ready, and they were unbelievable in the race. And big hats off to those guys. It's so great and refreshing to come back to a team like that just has so much belief and works so hard to get results like these, and they deserve it. So, big hats off to everyone on the team. The food has been great all year, and it was especially good this weekend. So big thanks to those guys. Big thanks to Chris for having me back. Obviously, all the supporters, Graham, everyone on the team that makes it happen, and huge congrats to Paul. I mean, Paul made some massive improvements this weekend, and to have 2 Dyson cars on the podium is awesome, even though it's not Chris, right? So we'll take it, though. We'll take it. So big thank you. Thanks, guys.
Wait. Who wants to see what kind of arms these guys have? Give one to Paul. I think it was Meatloaf that said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's pretty good for Dyson Racing. Let's see. Oh, you okay there? You all right? Sorry, I like to get awkward. This is your first time. Here you go. Matthew, let's see what you got. Well, you got to wear that one. All right, let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Fix, Keith Grant, Matthew Brabham, and Brumby. Oh, really? Hey, you might want to, don't let Brumby drive. He's been licking champagne. He's 35 in dog. She says he's legal in dog years. All right, VIR, now I need you to get super loud for TV. Let's hear it. Paul Fix, Keith Grant, Matthew Brabham, and Brumby. Okay. All right. Uh-oh. Look out, Brumby. Don't get in the dog's eyes. Well, you're too young over there. Nice job. Unbelievable. Chris Dyson, Dyson Racing, congratulations. Thanks for putting on such a... Oh, whoa. I don't know if I want to be associated with that. All right, Matthew, don't go too far, because Larry Bishop is coming up here. Matthew, come up the top step, buddy. Brumby, you can come back. This year, I've had the privilege of watching Matthew Brabham racing in Stadium Super Trucks and Indy Lights and now in TA. Larry Bishop is coming up here with IMCO because Matthew Brabham is our IMCO Top Gear Award winner, $500. Larry, hold that up for Matthew. Check that out. Come on, get up there with him. Holding up the Happy Gilmore check. Larry Bishop coming out, making some great gearboxes and gears with IMCO. Longtime supporter of the series. Oh, he's got something to say. This is rare.
Rare, very rare. I usually don't like to say a lot. First of all, congratulations to the Showtime guys. They put a new driver in their car, and they did well, qualified strong, ran strong. That's awesome. CD Racing, you guys, Herculean effort. Herculean effort. My God. I've been doing this for over 35 years, and I've worked a lot of wrecked race cars and burnt race cars, and there's nothing worse than working on a burnt race car. You guys did it. You worked late at night. You did one hardship lap, and he went out there and he ran the race. And I'm telling anybody that's done this in their life knows what a big deal that is. Congratulations, you guys. It's awesome.
I love it. Hey, and take the mic anytime. You're natural. I love it. Let's hear it. Larry Bishop, Emco Gears, Matthew Brabham, Top Gear Award winner. Matthew, congratulations. You can't take that home, though, just like Happy Gilmore. And our chill out moment of the race is the fantastic finish. One more time, another Grant. Let's hear it. Cary Grant wins our chill out moment of the race. Come on up here. He knows what to do with the check. Look at that. That's going to be a pretty big cool suit, Cary. How's that feel?
Feels good. It's cool like today. I won't need it, but it gets hot in the summertime. So just thanks to the series and thanks for the award. I appreciate it. Oh, and go Vols. I didn't say that earlier. Go Vols.
Go Vols. That's right. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Cary Grant, chill out moment of the race. John, are we good? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for taking part in the Mission Foods VIR Speed Tour. We will be back next year. Don't worry, I've got another shirt. Who wants a shirt? Woo! Look at that. Nice. Tyke Durst wants a shirt. We will be back oh, here we go. Well, here, Michelle, you give it to him. Thank you guys so much for coming out. That does it for the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli here at VIR. Adam Andretti, Tom Sheehan, Jonathan Green, monsters at calling the race. Where's Tom Sheehan? I just saw him walk away. Tom Sheehan, nice job on that. And we will be back next year. Thank you guys. Thanks, man. Yeah, you guys want to do family photos?
And thanks to Ben Sissel, as always. Congratulations to our winners. What a weekend here at VIR. The weather played its part. It's been absolutely gorgeous here on the North Carolina-Virginia border. And we've had some great stories too. Rafa Matos maintaining his lead, but the championship tightening up behind him in the runner-up spot. In TA, well, Chris Dyson's already won the championship, but as they say, an Herculean effort by the team to get Brabham back out on track, and he paid it back in spades with a fantastic win in TA. That's it from VIR. Stay with us, because in 4 weeks' time, we'll be at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. But as we leave you here, they say on each and every one of the number plates in Virginia, Virginia is for lovers, and we loved every minute of that. We'll see you next time. From me, Jonathan Green, goodbye for now.
I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman Brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
If your tooling isn't quite ready, and you need parts, and you need more parts than just a few, or if your run is just not that big, look to the experts in low-volume production, 3-Dimensional Services. Whether it's 10, 100, or 1,000 parts, we can meet your needs. And if it's 10,000, we can do that too. 3-Dimensional Services delivers high-quality parts for short runs, 70% faster than industry standards. 3-Dimensional Services. Prototype, production, proven.